Ladies and gentlemen, I am in a fantastic mood today. We have an absolutely god-stacked bracket. I can't even tell you how outrageously good this bracket is, lads. Let's be real. We never thought this day would come, but come it has, and it is time to reveal our weekend wage bracket. I hope you guys are having a grand day today. So, let's go ahead and do it up. Hit 'em up, in fact, is in this bracket. Can you believe it? I bet you can't. All right, this is our bracket, ladies and gentlemen. Our opening matches are going to be Kasuga versus Grass Eater. Already a pretty fun one. Winner faces Newt. And then we have these two matches, which need winners to face each other. We've got Hit 'em Up versus Lucy, which we will be casting, and Arbuz versus Alexander, which it's pretty one-sided in terms of seeding, but we'll see how it goes. And of course, down here, second portion, if you will, of this upper bracket, we've got Sausage versus Jimmy, winner faces Krankendow, and Godwheat versus Kutyam, winner faces Shopkeeper Dog. I believe this match might already be underway. So that is our bracket. It is... I'm pretty impressed, honestly. I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty happy with that one. We even had Shopkeeper Dog show up, which never happens for weekend wages, but he decided to join because Hit 'em Up decided to join. And that's the Hit 'em Up effect, guys. That's the Hit 'em Up effect. I'm well manicured today. I got my shower in nice and early. I do have to shave at some point, but I'll do that later. And I've got a little bit of elixir of productivity here that we're going to be using to channel forth this weekend wage into very good vibes. Luciferius is the one who we are waiting on. The one that we are waiting on right now. He's still waking up, still getting ready. And we got Biddy B, Villius, Lord Dragon, and Godweed in the chat. Hope you guys are having a grand time of it. Arbuz just now realized that it actually did start on time. Oh my goodness. What a glorious bracket. I do wish Hapsea had made it in, and I kind of, I wish Lord Dragon had made it in too. Lord Dragon had some download issues, unfortunate. Really weird loser bracket. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, you can participate in the next weekend wage as long as you have pre-release running. Hopefully by then you've got a workaround to your download issues. Jimmy will have to face Arbuz. No, that's not necessarily true. Arbuz is actually here. He's not forfeiting. Unless you think that Alexander is going to whoop Arbuz's butt, which is a possibility. Arbuz could roll Terran and maybe have a tough time of it, but I think his Terran is okay. I don't think he's actually going to have too much of a problem. While we're waiting for Luciferius to join the lobby and get us ready for our game. I got a rehost on Ranked. Oopsie. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's go to Ranked game mode and do it that way. Perfect. Yeah, so the thing that I had to do there real quick besides that is... Oh, I see. Jimmy in loser's bracket has to fight the loser of Hit 'em Up versus Arbuz. So, let's see. If Jimmy loses to Sausage, he goes down to the match number 13. And yes, if Hit 'em Up and Arbuz win their respective matches, the loser of that match will move down to face Jimmy. That's pretty standard. I mean, the thing is, there's a very big delta between the top end of the bracket, like the top 5 players, and the bottom 4 to 5 players are all about the same level there, I would say. There's like a range, right? So there's not really much of a middle, is what I'm pointing at. Like Sausage, Godweed, and Kasuga are kind of the middle players. Maybe to an extent, Grass Eater could also fit there as well. Like 3.5 middle players and 4.5 bottom players, I would say. But we'll see. Kasuga has selected Crisis Vector versus Grass Eater. Godwheat selected Acid Test versus Kutyam. It's going to be a Terran versus Terran to decide a Terran versus Terran. And then What else did we get for map picks? Arbiz picked Frosted Forest against Alexander. No surprises there. Hit 'em up selected Acid Test versus Lucy. I think the only one we're missing is Sausage Jimmy. But I'm guessing Sausage just hosted and didn't say what map he picked necessarily. Hopefully everybody remembers to go after the... Hopefully everybody remembers to play in ranked mode. We want to see that. Oh, actually, we might already have a result. As shocking as that is. Let's find out. Indeed we do. Under 7 minutes, Sausage defeated This Is Jimmy in the opening bracket. So I guess that's the end of that. Now we know that Sausage will be facing off against Crankendow. I'm guessing Crankendow will pick Crisis Vector, but I hope that Crankendow tightened up his play after the Zevi opener, ZVP that he did. Yeah, Jimmy will have to wait a little bit before his next opponent. Such is the way of things. Such is the way of things. I wonder something really quick. Is this possible? Do I have 2 instances of this? Do they show up? Oh, maybe. I didn't think this would be possible, but I'm hosting a lobby. Waiting for Luciferius to join us. And also I'm going to cast the match between Jimmy and Sausage, because we're waiting here and we got the time, so we might as well. Let's go back to the bracket, so I have that handy if I need to show it again. Okay, grab this match replay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to save this image, and then I'm going to go ahead and open it back up again, and then I'll just reset it to the state it was at when I opened it. Oh, we don't even know the map. What was the map? It was probably Frosted Forest, knowing Sausage. Listen, if I can get this rolling... Oh, it was near impact. In the time that it takes Lucy to join, then we'll be in pretty good shape. I can't believe Lucy's missing an opportunity to face Hit 'em Up. Hit 'em Up's hoping for the warm-up, you know what I mean? Shout out Jesse. Yeah, that's right. It's Jesse's capable of... Or it's Jesse's work that made it so that we could do multiple instances. So that's pretty epic. We'll do Sausage, and we'll do Jimmy. Everybody's having so much fun playing the Escozi or playing against the Escozi, and now we have a tournament where the Escozi are not selectable. It's almost cruel. Okay. Okay, the only problem is I have to, how do I do this? A different Brood War audio, okay. Gotcha. And then a different Brood War game. That's so funny. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Weekend Wage, and we are waiting on Luciferius to wake up, so it is now time to see a different match. This one is This Is Jimmy in the top left, our Cordovan, Terran, versus Sausage in the bottom right, our Eggshell Blue, Protoss, who is going for a Gateway and then a Scout. This is Near Impact, a map by Jujic. Epic. Absolutely epic. We do have a Fulcrum start here for Jimmy. He's going to be going for Mech into the Protoss Menace. Sausage is pretty known for unorthodox play, so we get to see how this all went through. We got people in the chat wondering what went wrong here. Well, I guess we'll find out. We'll also see what went right here. I think Sausage is pretty known for his 3-gate shenanigans versus Zerg. That is sort of the established way to play if you are, in the following in the footsteps of Oya, Swedish pro from StarCraft 1, who set the meta for PvZ for some time against Ziki. But thinking about the way that Sausage plays PvT, he actually is one of the few Protosses that will spam out Drakodons that I've seen. It's interesting because it's something that he does indeed get a lot of value from, if possible. Oh no, the bronze move has been engaged. Oh, look at all the lost mining time. It's okay, the Vulture will finish the job. He's bringing a gift, though. On the other side of it, he's like, hey, would you like these minerals? The Drakodon rejects the Terran kindness. Goodbye, Jimmy. Well, the Vulture actually doesn't bother chasing down the Scribe, so less money for Jimmy as a result of that. Looks like he may have missed a worker cycle at some point as well. Probably in all the hubbub trying to defend his worker line. Playing some defensive mines, adding a second fulcrum. Some idle time on that guy. Got a lot of money in the bank. I'm guessing he's going to be going for an expansion soon. 2 Fulk expand is fairly meta at this point. The Grand Library inclusion does not surprise me a bit. Sausage is a player who enjoys the Grand Library, and I think for good reason. ViddyB suggests that if you return resources to your opponent's town center, they lose that much. Could you explain to me the mechanic of how that works, perhaps? Is that something that we know? how would giving the money take money from them? Poisoned minerals, says Godwee. All right, buddy. You say so. Here we go. Drakodons are going to be accepting some of these mine hits. Vultures need to be pretty persistent here. You can't let the Protoss just get their Striders going and then get their shields going and then negate your shots in the entire time. You had pretty good target selection. Just stay in focus. Just stay, honestly, the fact that there was no micro there might be like people are like, oh, what Jimmy doing? But it doesn't really. You just right-click the Drakodon and you go back to doing other things. It'll be cost efficient for you, I promise. Obviously, if you have at least as many Drakodon or Vultures as they have Drakodons, you typically do want more. They are cheaper to make, but all factors to consider. Next is coming up here for Sausage. He's also adding an Atreus first and foremost. What this points to is that Sausage is looking for an early break, if it's at all possible. And if it's not, then his army is maybe a little bit weaker to Phalanx, but it's going to be some time before Jimmy has that out. So I don't think that's going to matter in this particular match. Once again, just trying to defend the Striders from heckling him in the early game. I feel like other players typically have like Cyclops and an Anchor or something like that by this point, but Jimmy's just rocking it out with Vultures. He's got a star pad. He clearly is gaming towards a drop, I think. Well, I think you really should be using that cliff advantage, plus the fact that they were stunned for some time to just kill those Drakodons. Jimmy really underestimating how powerful Vultures can be. Adding a Matador now. Feels like his production has been idle for some time as well. Of course, he has a huge bank, so I guess that's points towards my theory. Drakodon Zealot queued up here on one gateway, the other gateway idle. Classic move. Big stuns. Obviously, the Matador itself absorbing some of that, but the Armor Rend will be pretty useful here. Definitely something that helps the Vultures deal some damage. The problem is, the count was not managed earlier when the Vultures had a more favorable fight. And now he's switching away from Vulture production into Goliath Matador, which is, well, I don't need to tell you that's not going to work out too well. I feel like, I mean, there's not that. He's got one mine left, but he stuns his own Goliath with it. I guess the Drakodons are just going to walk up the ramp here. A Goliath is pretty cool, and it's got the Cestus for the armor, but no focus fire there on the wounded Drakodons, so that's a wrap there. Now the Masons are pulled. Oh, Jimmy. Poor Jimmy. Actually, he was kind of rich earlier. Rich Jimmy. When you are rich in the minerals, you are poor in the army. Sun Tzu or something. Do you guys think Sun Tzu would appreciate being, like, memed on every time somebody has something to say about combat strategy? Okay. 9 workers to 36. Another measure of the wealth created by Sausage's operation here. GG is going to have to be called. Jimmy, you are now in the lower bracket. Sausage has made it happen. Okay, all right. We still don't have a Lucy. Lucy still eludes us. I was going to say elude, but I wanted to be Lucy about it. Lucy eludes us. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Hey, it automatically reset back to my other view. That's pretty nice. Technology. Matadors. Oh, you know some, apparently. We have a Lucy. Meanwhile, it looks like Alexander has fallen to Arbuz Budesh. So Alexander is going to be in the lower bracket. And we are awaiting the... Oh, I actually didn't change the weekend wage number in the title there. It's a good test. Save it, change it up here. All right, Hit Him Up is eager to start. Lucy has his G Fuel, which once upon a time was something that I drank a lot. Oh yeah. Have you guys seen the latency compensation? Looks like we're able to play fine-ish. Yeah, I'm not seeing any lag. We should be good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are going straight back into it. This is a best of one on acid test between Hit 'em Up and Luciferius, and it will be TVT. Somehow my overlay skills knew that Hit 'em Up would roll Terran. Hope you guys are having a good time today. I'm having a good time. It's Hit 'em Up. Hit 'em Up in the top right is our blue Terran, and back here in the bottom right is Luciferius, our jet black Terran. See what he wants to pull here versus the tyrant himself. Will be a Fulcrum first for both players. No big surprises there. Now, Lucy has done the Talos Repair Goliath strategy before. Since then, Goliath Cleric might have actually been improved a little bit because the Cleric healing is not stackable, but it does give you extra armor. So, in theory, you could put one Cleric around and you get a lot of extra armor. And it's pretty good. It was pretty good. We'll see if Hit 'em Up can defeat the Lucy. I obviously am expecting him to. Arbuz rolling random means that things are a little bit different. Oh, just waiting for that gas. There it is. There it is. Hit him up. All right. Drops that one down. Arbuz has played random so far. Looks to me like they did not host on ranked, so I do not have the result of that particular matchup. We got Smarty Cakes adminning. We got Jujic adminning. Just letting Arbuz know that he's got to host ranked next time. Assuming it was him. If it was the admin, then, you know, just start blaming Jujic or something. But, yeah, appreciate everybody who's helping out. Appreciate everybody who's playing. Vulture's already out here, and Lucy's... Mason gets deep enough to scout to Fulk. He's going to go for this Goliath, the trusty Goliath. One Cyclops on the way, and already falling a little bit behind in workers, but Stockade is on the way. I guess he is going to go for that Cleric move. Ah, okay. So... Hit him up is going to stick to the Mason scout. He's actually not moving across with the vultures just yet. And it looks like the Mason now wants to go ahead and build a watchdog scout at the 4 o'clock position. Lucy is expecting to... I'm expecting Lucy to go cleric here, but he does need the vestry. Pretty big vulture stack here. It shouldn't be able to deal with the Goliaths and the one Cyclops. Maybe Lucy will just look for an anchor here to defend his position, or he'll stack up the resources necessary. Something more. Watchdog Scout flies in and sees. Fulcrum Vestry? What's going on here? One Goliath will be dispatched, but... He's actually going for a treasury, so we will likely see the Talos show up here. Ministry on location for Hit 'em Up. He's pretty confident in the things that he's going to be going up against, so... Let's find out. It's actually a shaman and not a cleric. Interesting choice. He wants some sort of sustain value here. I guess, like, Shaman Goliath could be really good versus Cyclops. I don't think it would be very good versus Vulture, but... I mean, if Phalanx come out for Hit 'em Up, I think we can wrap it up there, because you can't really do much with Shamans. There's the Quarry, so that's for the Talos. We'll see. And the Cleric on the way now. For, Sir Lucy. He's going to be rocking the new model, done by Delta and retouched by Solstice. Big shoutouts. Maybe we'll see Solstice in one of these events sometime. That would be really cool. Alright, the Goliath is watching for the Watchdog. It's coming back in and seeing the same production as before. Probably going to be a little bit peculiar. Probably going to be a little bit curious. Doesn't want to get in his own head about it. Goliath Cyclops. He's expecting a star pad, I think, right? There was an add-on. There was some add-on. I didn't catch what it was. It's gone now. Dead now, of course. Ta-da! The quarry has arrived. Now we get Talos from the treasury. Oh! Oh! Gun! Lucy's just doing this to get points from me. That's it. He's like, I will build the Ogun for Pronogo. There's the Palladium, so you're going to be a 4-Falk tank push here from Hit 'em Up. What is he going to use the Ogun for? That's a bad Jimmy. Bad Jimmy. Sit. Do not read the Epstein file. Can't believe I had to tell you that. Well, he's got an Ogun. Okay, just used it to make that. All right. I didn't know what he was planning with that. You typically... Ogans have the deployment mode that heals structures the way Shamans heal units. And so they do build. They are pretty tanky units. They build. They do not harvest resources, so... It's pretty good. Another Watchdog! Well, this Goliath is going to be farming Watchdogs. I know exactly what Lucy is doing. And we are along for the ride. Got him. All right. The Ogun returns. Can you guys see? Can you see the vision? I can see the vision. Meanwhile, the Cyclops Goliath with a couple Phalanx is on the way. Yeah, I think this one is a wrap pretty soon, but it's fun. It's interesting. He's got a lot of healing, actually. Shamans might be able to shrug off some of the Cyclops shots. Oh, down goes one Goliath. 2 armor does not help much with the failing. Okay. All right, Lucy. What do you do now, Lucy? Do it, Lucy. You know you want to. Oh. got a little hit squad out here to open up the back door. I'm not quite sure what that's for just yet. He's going to expand there, I guess. Come on, Lucy. I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to do it. Tier 2. As Hit 'em Up's knocking on the door, by the way. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Oh, God. Ah, GG. Hit 'em Up must be so confused. Hit 'em Up must have no idea what just happened. Oh, I love it. It's so beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to be casting Hit 'em Up versus Arby's. And that means Arby's is going to select Near Impact. I was already going to tell him. Wild. Wild scenes. The Ogun gave me hope when it was not justified. Building tier 2 and then going like what Lucy really likes to do is he likes to do pocket like tier 3 on 2 base strats. So he was trying to do that on Acid Test, but it's pretty hard to do that on that map. Near Impact's a really good map for it. We'll see if he can salvage that situation in another situation, in another map. So that's going to let Hit 'em Up push forward, and now we are going to have Lucy map versus Alexander. Lucy's a pacifist? Yeah. Yeah. All right, Lucy versus Alexander is going to be put up there. I don't know if we have a result. Oh, okay, looks like Kasuga defeated Grass Eater, which means it's Newt versus Kasuga. You are versus Kasuga. You are already playing? I don't know if they're already playing. I can't see. People type a lot in the thread. There's no way I'm going to keep track of that. Do we have the result of Godwheat versus Kutyam, or? Kutyam defeated Godwheat. Okay, that's good to know. Just doing some quick management here. That means that it is Pick Map versus Kutyam. It's a dog-on-dog world. Terran-on-Terran violence. Okay, and that means that there are no other matches that have yet to be processed here, unless Crank versus Sausage is already done. Is Crank v Sausage done? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to finish setting up the overlay, but we are beginning our next matchup here. It is random on random, so this is going to be an interesting match here, I think. Okay. So it's actually going to be a Terran versus Zerg. I'm going to get our overlay ready, and then we'll get into the game for you guys to see. The best part is you have no idea who is who. All right, well, Arbuz Budash is our dark green Terran, forest green, in fact, at the top left, and Hit 'em Up in the bottom right is our red Zerg. This will be an interesting matchup because it is going to be a match that, you know, unless you're at the apex, the apogee of the Zerg race, you're struggling versus Terran a little bit. Now, Hit 'em Up has been out of the meta for a while. He might just try his BS and then use his IQ reduction aura, as Arbuz actually coined it, to defeat Arbuz himself. Arbuz's worst race is Terran. So there is some hope here for Hit 'em Up to escape, continue in the upper bracket and face off against the winner of Newt versus Kasuga in the semifinals. This is all best of ones. The winner's final will be a best of 3, and every match after that will also be a best of 3. So that's the consolidation final, I guess the lower final, the lower semifinal, the winner's final, and the grand final. Those 4 matches are all that. It's going to be Larvaskin to Hydrith here for Hit 'em Up. We have no scouts coming. It's going to be a mech open here for Arbiz. He thinks that that is the safest of the options, it seems. So let's see. I mean, random versus random, best of one. I mean, this is the true Cosmonarchy experience right here. The best of one part, though, makes it pretty dicey to play RVR. Jujik has confirmed that one of our other matches, Sausage versus Crankendow, is still ongoing. So we will see how that one goes. Still waiting on some other homies to get their games on a roll, but I hope you guys are having a good time this weekend, Wage. We've seen some interesting fleshing out of the broadcast so far, of the way that the bracket is going is certainly interesting me. Den is done, and we've got a band of Rilla Rokors here for emergencies. It'll be 3 Hydras before any units from Arbiz's side actually do anything. And a Burrowed Droleth. That's kind of curious. He's clearly waiting for the move out, but is he going to be able to see when it comes out? I don't know. I mean, Arbiz clearly going for a Ministry. He's playing it pretty safe here. Going to float the Ministry down to the natural pretty soon. Well, after it's done, obviously. And I don't know, 75 seconds is pretty soon, right? Right, guys? I'm going to be I'm really interested in how Hit 'em Up is going to navigate the Zerg matchup, because overall, Arbiz he's been doing some hardcore gaming, but his Terran is not all there it's cracked up to be. He lost a Terran versus Zerg against Crankendow on Germination some time ago. And I would normally put Arbiz ahead of Crankendow in, like, just in terms of Zerg play, though I think Crankendow has a higher ceiling. Right now, I would rank Arbiz higher than him. But since Arbiz keeps signing up on the... he keeps signing up as random, I have to dock him some points, right? Because his Protoss isn't as good as his Zerg, although it's pretty good, serviceable for sure. I would say it's like borderline class 1 level, but his Terran has not proven to be so. We do have the Hatcherosk on the way. Avaleth coming behind it to clear mines. We got Hydras, we got a Circuit for the ramp, and the Hydras will be able to shove the Vultures away pretty easily. And I don't think, this is the first time Arbiz is scouting the tech. I don't think he's actually going to expect a Hydrith opener. And with the Hydras now moving in with the Avaleth to scout, they're going to be happy to clear some of these mines. Yeah, easy. A lot of Cyclops should stop the Hydras from just eating the base. Although, Arbiz is actually moving out to try and fight on the front lines, which is a curious strategy. Also walking through his own Cyclops shells, but that's everybody. Well, let's see. I mean, the Aziracors are here, right? So they're going to soak up a lot of the damage and allow the Hydras to find some more purchase. I love that Arbiz is doing the falling back, forcing Hit 'em Up to just fight through all of the Cyclops shells. But even so, the reinforcement point is going to allow him to hold, despite the fact that Hit 'em Up did claim a number of those mech units. We have a Circuit coming for the natural. It's to defend against Vulture run-bys, it looks like, and that's going to be Larvosk number 3. So going up to 5 larvae per 14 seconds is pretty legit. We have some production explosion coming out of Arbiz as well. He's set up his natural. He's got plenty of Vespian income there. So he's spending his minerals on the fulcrums and another production structure entirely, the stockade, while the scrapyard comes down. So he clearly wants to go for some sort of Matador-based play, Matador Cyclops or something. Down goes an Iziracor. More Circuits for our Zerg. So he's going to end up scooping up some of the Hydras. And Arbiz is definitely going to be aware of that. So the drop was seen. He steps on the last of them. So this Obelith is just going to return home for the time being, it looks like, or maybe take a roundabout path. Yeah. So he's going to fly into the natural, but at a very delayed timing. And Arbiz is just going to sit back right now. So Arbiz's passive style is going to build up everything that he wants to do. Stockade for the Vestry is so that he can make some Shamans. And he will be adding some anti-air defenses or that drop-in for anything else that Hit 'em Up might want to do as the Skiback Scab is finishing up. Yeah, getting all the anti-drop defenses going on here for both players, really. All right, looks like a light move out is expected here from Arbiz. He's capped the ridge in his main base, not in the natural. Bactylisks are on the way. That's a very, very potent tool against the Cyclops, but Matadors can soak him up quite a bit in the initial stage. Now, Hit 'em Up isn't typically a player who likes to go for a drop without any other distraction, so he's liable to unload that in the mineral line as the enemy attack comes in, because that's really the only other thing that Arbus could be focusing on at any given time. So, as a result of that, we aren't going to see that drop get activated anytime soon. It's going to be a 6th larva producer coming up here, the Hatcherosk, inside the main base. Would love to see Hit 'em Up get a few more of those as time goes on, but he's probably going to look to secure another base first, as he is spending down his money nicely. Pretty good at recognizing when he's at the limit of his current income, that's for sure. Capped both ridges, sending out more Hydras. Mason to scout out the defensive network here. Arbus is going to say, oh, okay. I cannot do that. So, you saw Hit 'em Up check the Ovoleth there. He was maybe thinking about it like, oh, he just scouted me, so maybe his army is in a different spot. It wouldn't have gotten too much done. There's a Shaman and Blackjacks right there. But the third base is on location here for Arbus. And Tier 2 is beginning. So we are going to get into the mid-game, it looks like, no matter what. I can't quite foresee Arbus bungling his entire army to what Hit 'em Up has. And Shroud is on the way, and base number 3 will be at the 5 o'clock location here for our Zerg player. Might see him double expand from this. The Ovoleth is actually going to preempt the attack. So as it comes through, he is going to be under attack. I think he should be able to escape with that, with just a little bit of health. And let's see if Arbus responds to it with any amount of his army. As that happens, the front line is going to be knocked upon. The Hydra's pulling away from the Cyclops and Matador front, but the Iziricors are liquefied immediately. Bactyls need to be focusing down those mid-range units rather than dealing with the Matadors, but they have to deal with those Matadors initially, it seems. Bactyl's still going to be trading quite nicely initially. Feels like it's not going to be very long before the Terran army is able to overwhelm. Do we have another remax of units? It's mostly just Hydras, a couple of Iziricors. There are some more Walker units out here. Shaman and Cleric helping out to boost the armor. We have to see whether or not this remax from Hit 'em Up can beat the reinforcement wave from Arbus. He's got lots of production out here, but the Cyclops are kind of in melee range, so they end up splashing themselves down quite a bit there, and the Shamans are deployed, so they're toast. Tier 2 is complete. Under the pump a little bit, but Hit 'em Up doesn't have any kill threat. The Hydras over here didn't get too many kills. We would still see the corpses there. Looks like they were cleaned by just units that came out of the Fulcrums. But the third base is under attack. So this is a committal of the forces from the Zerg. A lot of workers are going to go down here, and Hit 'em Up will take the worker lead off of the back of this, I think. Oh, just narrowly not. Bactyls are trying to space themselves out. Honestly, the Hydras can kill what Arbus has here, if they're using the right focusing here. A couple more units popping in. One of the only Bactyls ended up dying, the other one staying alive just barely. Arbus committed to try to save that base with an army that wasn't quite equipped for it. And honestly, Hit 'em Up could have just microed that even better. Not to say that it much matters at this stage. It's only Matadors in his way. The one captaincy, 3 captaincies total, but 2 of them going to finish soon. I don't think they're going to be activated enough, but that is a glorious amount of splash damage coming out of the Cyclops inside the anchor. Stray lobotomy mine from downtown also helping out, but the Matadors will get crushed under the weight of all the spines, and I really don't think that Arbus is going to be able to stabilize long enough for his captaincies to do anything. He has no force with which to multiply. Therefore, I do believe he's about to collapse, about to falter. The double expansion is done for Hit 'em Up, but he doesn't even need to actuate those bases. GG is called, and Hit 'em Up moves on to the semifinal. That's our tyrant. That's our homie. Hit 'em Up returns and immediately makes a good stab at top 4. He's going to need to win one more match in the upper bracket to lock in a prized winning. However, if he does falter to his next opponent, who is either Newt or Kasuga, we will end up seeing him fall down to the lower bracket and need to win, again, one more best of 1 in order to get to the prize. So let's see. What's up, Ire? How you doing? Okay, let's take a look. So Crisis Vector was picked by Shopdog versus Kutyam. Do we have a result here? Oh my god. I'm asking about the result of Sausage versus Crank. Where did Ayud go? He's not the only Class 1 player missing. You also have... We have no Ayud, Ziki, Oya, Hamster. But yeah, I guess that's it. We have Newt, Shopdog, Arbuz, Crank. Hit him up. Oh, we don't have Shambler. Shambler's also Class 1. Okay, Sausage got cranked. That's the official report. So that means that Crankadad will move on to face the winner of Shopdog versus Kutyam. I definitely want to cast that matchup. What about Newt versus Kasuga? That puts us at Arbuz picking up versus... Well, there is rank decay, that's for sure. I mean, Hit 'em Up just took down the number 4 player in this bracket. Arbuz is rank 7, Hit 'em Up is rank 9. Technically, that's a mismatch. But Arbuz is also rank 7 as Zerg, not necessarily as Terran, so we'll have to see how that one goes. It's cool to see Hit 'em Up play, though. That was neat. I like that. Okay, Arbuz is going to pick Germination against Jimmy. I'm going to take a look and see if there's any other games in this bracket that we're immediately playing. But it doesn't look like it. Lucy v. Alexander is still ongoing. Winner of that will face Sausage. And Grass Eater is awaiting the loser of Dog versus Kutyam. Godweed awaiting the loser of Newt versus Kasuga, which I guess is still ongoing. So I'm going to go ahead and host Arbuz versus Jimmy. And then it'll be Germination was selected. Okay, and I'll go ahead and get my overlay ready. And we'll get this game. Hey, Hit 'em Up, you did pretty damn well. I know Arbuz's weakest race is Terran, but there were some tricky spots to navigate there, and I think your micro was on point. There's a few times where I mentioned like just focusing down the Matadors with the Hydras would have been a little bit better, but there's only so much you can do. And also, when the Shamans and the Clerics both combine, it's really hard to get a feel for how many units, how many salvos it takes to actually kill one of those units. So I don't think the last time you played ZVT, at least like you grinded ZVT, Matadors had their Forecastle passive anyway, so there's a lot of stuff that was different. Build unit. Yeah, it's true. It is true. We're just waiting on Jimmy to join this lobby. Jimmy has joined this lobby. I'll tell our players to say when ready. All right. Oh, Jesus. Somebody's lagging hardcore. It's definitely some kind of lag conflict. There ain't no hope in this matchup, that's for sure. And this one will not be over soon. Let's see here. Gotta tweak the overlay. I mean, I have a lot of time to do so. Germination is our map name, and Arbiz versus Jimmy. Arbiz is rolled Protoss. There it is. See? All good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another matchup here. Arbiz playing as Protoss. He is our orange. No, it was Pumpkin. Pumpkin, Protoss. Unbelievable. That's a absolutely insane color combo. And Jimmy in the bottom right is our Alice Blue. Alice Blue Terran. Gonna be going for Fulcrum. Gonna be Gateway into Fulc. And it looks like we have the completed match here between Shopkeeper Dog and Kutyam Supin. So I'll be casting that one for sure, because that's Shop Dog versus Crank in the semifinal there. Legionnaire start here for Arbiz. And a Rogue Gallery. He's going to use Cabbalists. Second Fulc is on the way for Jimmy. Hopefully he's able to shape up after that disappointing matchup against Sausage. But Arbiz's Protoss, I would rate higher than Sausage's. So this is a harder match in the lower bracket, which isn't typically how it goes. Well, Kutyam is playing a different matchup, Vilius, so... This is Jimmy. Can't you read? Got him! Holy shit, we have a 17-minute game completing in the lower bracket, and it will be that's a matchup I gotta cast for sure. I can go ahead and advance the bracket down there though. All right, so the Kabbalist is on the way. We'll see what Jimmy's crisis response is like. He's going for an expansion out in the open, exposed in the cold, even though it's desert, in the heat. What's he possibly going to do as the Kabbalist begins its termination sequence? I can't remember the unit, but I think it's in the Zedgy race, in the Zedgy TC. But there's a unit that has like some... Razorclaw used a bunch of soundboards for the unit responses in that game, in that mod, and there's a unit that goes, begin termination sequence. And I can't, that lives in my head rent-free, I'm not gonna lie. That was like core childhood memory or something. Now, one thing that Arbiz is a little bit weak to here is just a full-blown counterattack, potentially. If Jimmy had been a little bit more potent with his production, he might have been able to do that. Oh no. Back up! We need backup! The Vulture's like, I'm out of here. I don't want to get jumped on by that Kabbalist. Are you kidding me? Here he goes. Drill. Oh. Okay. 1 point of damage. Don't worry, lads. We got this. Yeah, honestly, a stun is not a bad call. Jimmy's struggling with the actual micro part of this. But his idea to stun the Kabbalist is great. That's beautiful. Now he should be able to kill it. Ooh, just barely. Okay, well, it only killed like 8 workers and... No, I'm just kidding. It didn't kill that many, but it killed 4 workers, then it denied a lot of mining time, and it distracted Jimmy quite a bit. And he still hasn't pushed in to attack Arbiz. So I think mission accomplished, but at least Jimmy got to practice against it, right? That's pretty good. All right. The mine hits are one thing. Can Jimmy defeat Arbiz? Can Jimmy do it? He's got vultures. He's focusing them down. He's making my lights flicker. Oh, the Legionnaire just stunned all of Jimmy's units. He's still trying. He remembers when Pronogo said that the vultures were underestimated by him earlier. Unfortunately. They were correctly estimated now. The lodestone response. He's got 0 combat units! Jimmy, no! Little did he know he had a closer engagement against Sir Arby. I feel like we are seconds away from seeing Jimmy eliminated. Let's see if he can change my mind. He only has a few mines. Oh, big stuns, though. Doesn't matter if there's only a few of them if you can make them count. That's pretty good. One more. One more. Oh, he only gets the Legionnaire, though. He needed to kill that unit when he had the chance. All right, the Barghests won't last very long here, so the armor penetration is going to be pretty limited. Trying to repair the Goliath with his Masons. Now here comes that armor pen. Goliaths aren't going to be doing as best as good as they could otherwise, but the Goliaths are unkillable. They are unkillable Demon Kings. Well, one of them died. It does feel like it was a good attempt at hold from Jimmy. He might have gotten a little too big for his britches. He's not making enough units behind this. The unironic counter to this, by the way, is just to get into the face so that the Cyclops deals splash damage. But Jimmy's walking through his own field, so I guess it doesn't matter. Oh! Oh, that guy had 7 health. Now the anchor starts. Now the anchor starts. Unbelievable. Barghest on the way, of course, but also, during this time, a unitary union has been made, and there's a Unar coming. Oh, Arbuz. You could win with these 3 Drakodons, but it stings harder if you win, you know, with a Unar, I think. Where is Phalanx, sire? I don't know. Jimmy couldn't afford it. He's got 600 minerals, though. Third base on the way. Unar has arrived. Say goodnight, Jimmy. Oh, good. Jimmy, it's fine. No. I don't think so. I don't see... If there was a Palladium finished, I would say Jimmy has a chance to hold. Holy shit. We have another resolution here. Talk about that in a moment. Alright, Scrapyard, Vestry, but no Palladium. This is not going to end well. The Kabbalist returneth. The lodestone, it's there for detection, but it doesn't actually. There's nothing in it. Jimmy, no! Oh, Jimmy! Protoss rock up to your house like... Hi. Oh, God. GG. It was brutal. Arbiz doesn't type GG back, so Jimmy has to take a long time to leave. That stings. That stings. Lodestone does detect. Yes, it is a detector. That's what it has the satellite dish for. Hit Him Up is desperately trying to host his next match, so he doesn't have me streaming. I did already say that I would cast the Crank It Down match, though. Okay, Crisis Vector. You pick that last one. So you pick what I did. Nice try, Jimmy. GG. Arbiz now awaits the winner of Godwheat versus... I can't tell you who it was, because that would be a spoiler. No, it was Newt. All right, it'll be Demaloon selected by our next homie. We have... Shopkeeper versus Frank. Trying to shorten their names a little bit for the lobby. And of course, now I can go ahead and fill out the overlay. Oh no, I'm so used to picking the last icon in the list for Zerg, but the last icon is now a Scozy. That's going to take so long for me to remember. All right. Let's do it, boys. This will be a Class 1 battle, okay, guys? It's going to be Krankendow taking on Shopkeeper Dog. And we have Shopkeeper Dog in the bottom right here as the Mahogany Terran. No, it's Auburn, actually. And Krankendow in the top left as the Tea-Green Zerg. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these two homies are going to be navigating this matchup. We already saw a TVZ earlier that was Arbiz rolling Terran and Hit 'Em Up rolling Zerg. But this time they both knew they were going to be Terran and Zerg. So it's a little bit different. A little bit different. See what kind of matchup this is going to end up being. Because Chop Dog is going to go mech. He does not believe in the bio, apparently, versus our dear Zergy friends. There it is. And we are going to see Krankendow going for a pool. No, it's actually a Larvosk. Okay. Vagrant into pool, I guess. Oh, Shop Dog. You goober. Yeah, it will be Vagrant pool Larvosk. Okay. That's the builder. I just wanted to see what was going on there. Just letting everybody know in the Weekend Wage chat that we had like an upper seed versus lower seed question. Grass Eater is the upper seed in his next match. Snob Dog. Unbelievable. Get him. Bully him. See you later. I still can't believe when Shop Dog said that he had a picture of the Demaloon minerals next to his desk. Like the same way that people have pictures of their kids and stuff. That was really hilarious. And Arb is like, do you miss the Demaloon minerals? And Arbus is like, haven't thought of them. What a deranged, absolutely absurd example of epic from these two homies. All right. So, Zethicors are leaving the building. We do have the Vulture landmines. Not going to be able to stop that guy from getting very far. But at the very least, won't let the scout complete. Where's the next mine going, I wonder? Okay, he's going to lay it at 12 o'clock. That makes sense. Any drops that might be going that way. And it looks like he's setting up for a ministry. This is always something that's funny to me, is like the worker actually returns home, but you're so used to it not returning home, so you send another worker to make your expansion as the other guy is like, hey, I'm here. Okay, I guess I'm not needed for that. I'll just go back to mining. Like, he's completed his shift away from base. He can go back to base for some relaxation time, you know? I bet you Mason pilots have, like, speakers in their Mason, you know, in their SCV sort of exterior frame. I feel like the Mason pilots have some music playing or whatever, you know what I mean? Keep them focused on the task. Vornath on the way for our crank. Our cranky crank. Down goes another attempted Zeth scout. Krankendow has been foiled every time he tries to go for his scout so far. He's keeping the Zeths in the back, which is interesting. He wants to actually make a bunch of Vorvs with them, I'm guessing. First, actually, he's going for the Nathracors. That's pretty neat. So obviously, versus Vultures, any air unit's going to be pretty difficult for the Vulture to deal with. But the Nathracor could be pretty legit at causing some trouble for Shopdog. He's got Cyclops and an anchor. He's got more Cyclops waiting to go. No Starped on the way, so he will not be dropping. I've said it before as well, but mech builds are a little bit weak to Lakes because if you're going for a very fast Shroud timing, the Zerg player can get into a position where they basically have an invisible unit, and mech is the only branch that doesn't have detection. Obviously, you can go for like a Lodestone defensively or whatever. Now, here comes the crunch onto the Vultures. Is this just going to waste time from the Zerg army, however? Shopdog sees just how many units have been made, and he's just going to try to keep things a little bit further away, right? These air units keeping on to the Vultures is one thing, but it looks like it's recognized by Krankendow, who's just going to leave the Nathracors to chase the Vaults. He's actually got nothing over here for defense. The Natural only now coming down. Shopdog maintaining an economic lead, and there's a humongous set of stuns. Absolute supremacy with those lobotomy mines. And the rest of the Zerg army is going to be whittled into nothingness, collapsing limply against what Shopkeeper Dog had. Some Cyclops are still intact. They will be able to go after these Nathracors and stop them from killing every single Mason. Some of them have arrived in the main base to cause some problems, and we have a Valkyrie being made to try to shoo them the door. You do need some kind of protection. Oh my god. Oh no! Oh no! The Cyclops! No! Oh my god, the Masons almost just all died to Cyclops. Oh god! Oh, that's painful. But so glorious. Anchors are lifting. Does Shopdog trigger an all-in based on that? The Zerg player looking pretty solid. Zorka's Shroud about a quarter of the way complete. We thought his attack failed. The Nathracors were the real pièce de résistance. Valkyrie scouting ahead. And also catching strays from the Cyclops. Matadors being added. Mason production kicking back into gear. A little bit better economy, if you're in Shopdog's shoes. The anchors will be used as a scout, rather than anything offensive. The army's been shooed away, so Shopdog doesn't want to face the Zerg menace. Now, these anchors were wounded before, and it feels like since he held the bust, he was fine just kind of sacking them. But he gets a pretty good scout off on what the army actually is. He sees more Nats have been made, so he can comfortably invest into Valk and Watchdog. He looks like he's probably going to want more than one Watchdog per base, but not much more. You don't want to overbuild versus Nathracors. He doesn't have any sources of steady healing, though. Have to manually repair everything, which he hasn't done. The one Valkyrie. It kind of serves multiple purposes, right? It lets all the Nats stack up and then take splash damage. But there's a lot of friendly fire here, that's for sure. Cyclops Matador is going to be the way that Shopdog tries to push the issues. There's some Zorius out. One Lake is. We talked about that detection. A Wraith is being made, though, not an Anseal. What is Shopdog going to do to navigate this? I feel like as he sees the Shroud units come out, he's going to have a big problem here. Deploying the Matadors at key locations could definitely help him out. Let's see, the Armor End only now coming into these Matadors up top, and the Cyclops are doing so much kiting. Look at that, little outposts, bastions of Terran onslaught there, preventing the Zerg from just running over this army. It ends up trading fairly evenly, all things considered. At the end of the day, though, the Zorius is not killed. We even had those Nathicors pocketed off to the side in case they were needed for something. And Krangada doesn't have as many workers as Shopdog does, so there is definitely a little bit of a difference there. And with more Fulcrum coming, with more Matador being made, Matador Cyclops is a good composition. It's just something that we don't see too often, so people are maybe not necessarily used to it. Now, with the Nathicor count only at 6 right now, or 5 actually, it's pretty easy for the Watchdogs to deal with that. So that can safely be ignored. Oh! Jumping on the opportunity to clear out one of those Lakes and trying to get the other one as well. He'll destroy the wounded Zorius in the process. And Anseal is here for detection now, so we don't have to worry about that purely. And the third base going up at 12 o'clock, it is going to be an opportunity for Crank to stretch ahead economically. You can see him making 12 workers right now, by the way. But big problem is we don't have a lot of military for the Zerg. And yes, 40 units is not a lot of military for Zerg. They need way more than that. Most of those units are not even over here, per se. Oh, he's got a lot of Zeths. Second star pad is done. Third star pad on the way. It's going to be Wraith Anseal switch in. I actually really like this little tricky play from Shopdog. Ulgorg on the way. We got extra macro hatches coming up, as well as, of course, that third base finishing. Those 12 Drolets ended up saturating the main base. They can be pulled over if so desired. Big army pushing into the middle of the map now. Shopdog certainly trying to stretch his legs. How do you get a third base on this map for the Terran? He's going to try to go for 6 o'clock. Remember, this is Shopdog's map pick, so... Going to be a bit of a challenge for sure. Hello, Alexander. Welcome to the chat, homie. All right, the deployment on top. Shopdog expecting some kind of move here. He's going to keep pushing forward. Anseal's shellacked by all the Cyclops flash, but a stray Lake is not going to be too kind. We've got another set of Wraiths coming. And there's not that much in the form of... Oh, man, this is such a hard mineral thing to return to. The one Zethicor attacking 6 o'clock, not really that big of a deal. One more heading over towards 3 o'clock. The one Lake is going to be easily sniped by the Wraiths. Shopdog is going to try to force this issue, and as soon as the attack comes in, he comes back down the ramp and deploys the Matadors. Is there a response to this? There's no Hydras and no Lakes. The two of them down here gets immediately eliminated. Blackjack Matador able to hold the line versus those more tanky units that lack the damage. Here come the Gorgs. The Gorg button has been pressed. We don't have a lot here that can answer to that. Matadors only shoot down. Blackjacks were eliminated almost immediately. Okay. Where does that reset us to? Because there was some economic disruption had. A lot of extra defenses were made. And a lot of units have been forced out. Here comes some Wraiths to try to flank. One of the Gorgs will go down immediately. Yeah, that's going to be an easy wipe on the Gorg count. And Tier 2 begins. We've got more Wraiths being made. Blackjacks being made galore. A round of Vultures for that map control. Down goes the last of the Gorgs. Now, more have been made during this time, but we don't have the Zozark yet. Still just at the sort of mid-tier for the Ulgorg tree. Third base is up and running for both players, but better for Shopdog's opponent so far. His actual saturation here is a little bit lackluster, and no Vespene mining either. Let's take a look at the cap situation. No gas caps for Shopdog. I guess you can say the same for Krankendow so far. Neither player investing in capping their Vespene. Down goes the Gorgakor, Lone Guardian. 16 Wraiths, and a lot of Blackjacks as well. At this point, the Wraith stack is getting kind of out of hand, and all the Gorgakors are focusing on the air. They need to be destroying the ground, and they're not even succeeding versus all the Wraiths. The defenses are coming up, but that's just a spray. The Matadors are going to shrug off the initial attacks by those circuits. I don't think that Krankadao is guaranteed to get out of this situation, but if he does survive, it'll be because the air stack has been whittled down, and the circuits continue to help. The body block from the Droleths, stopping the Blackjacks and the Matadors from getting up. They're not focusing down the workers. They need to get those out of the way. Looks like the static defense has come up. But at this point, the Shopkeeper Dog just sent his Remax of Blackjacks directly into the natural. Hydras have started to come out onto the field. Krankadao is trying to extend play. But we've got Tier 2 starting to actuate behind this. If Shopkeeper Dog doesn't win here, he'll likely reduce the threat as time goes on. The Matadors tripping over themselves, stretching a little bit too close to the natural, which has been reinforced with static defense as well. You don't want to be fighting out here if you can help it.
Thank you for helping me break my pole addiction. I didn't even realize I had a problem. I've never felt so free.
There's a bigger problem, and that problem is that these Blackjacks are continuing to salvo through what Krankadao has. Will he be able to stay alive? The Blackjacks are starting to get reduced. Yes, the Iziracors are able to stay alive long enough for Krankadao to stabilize in this situation. But again, this is not all she wrote for what Shopdog has. He's adding the Tinkerer's Tower. His captaincies are completing. A ministry for base number 4 is on the way, and no 4th base in sight for the Zerg. I appreciate the $10 there, Godwheat. Your pole addiction is going to be replaced with an addiction to watching Shopdog take on Crank, because this is a very, very cool match. Droleth slowly moving over to try to restock this 12 o'clock, which constantly had to be remaking static defense the entire time. There's a moment of quietude spreading through the map. Crank is going to be going for an extra base here if he can manage to shrug off this Tier 1 attack. But Tier 2 units are coming. Striga's being produced 5 at a time, and a 6th captaincy as well as a mantle are on the way. Base number 4 will be done soon for Shopdog. Wraiths continuing to be made, and Anseal pops out as well to try to restock situations as there is no active detection here. But no Lakas have been made in a while. Krankadao's only Zorka's sort of branch unit is going to be the Zorius that are being made. One Ultra Core as well, try to get that lifesteal going, but the Matadors can rend the armor, the Blackjacks can DPS it down. Here comes the next push. The Sprates are going to be pretty good at dealing with this position. These Ultra Cores should be focused down at some point in the eggs. Kill him in the crib. Let Shopkeeper take this game, unless Krankadao can somehow use the Iziracors to great effect. Remember, this attack is hitting before the Tier 2 is actually being used. Shopdog thought he saw an opening, but the Hydras are absolutely wrecking face right now. Nothing will survive for Shopkeeper Dog. He sets his sights on a 4th base, and he's got Striga Matador, but little in the way of ranged combat. He only has Striga Matador and 1 Cataphract on the way. We need more than that. 3 Anseals coming. The 4th Ministry will deploy. That is the window of opportunity Krankadao needed to get his Ultra Cores out and start working on base number 4 for himself. Maybe even double expand. The tech progression here for the Zerg player is very, very gas-starved. It doesn't look like it immediately because Krankadao's actually been pretty moderate about his Vespene spending. I think that means he's going to try to use the army advantage that he has to crush this 6 o'clock location and go a step further than that and tech up. The base is lifted. The Masons are going to be massacred. Iziracors coming in a big way. But where's that Tier 2? It's moments away from having enough Vespene for it. And I'm sure Krankadao is going to be looking to do so. Trying to focus down the Ministry if he can. Tier 2 will now be revealed as the Anseals come in. I think this was a mistake from Crank to overextend on this army fight. He hasn't actually developed many units back home. He has nothing back home. And this army is not going to get away. The Anseal's helping to protect the Strigas, staying alive for a very long time, and the Ultra Core is being dispatched. Now here comes the Ministry again, cleared easily. 12 Zorius just got made. That actually spends too many minerals for Krankadao as support. that extra base. He's going to take it now. Maybe see about getting tier 2 afterwards, but I don't think he has any scaling time. I think he needed to get in and get out, kill the workers, disrupt the base, force it to lift, and then leave. That was a big part of his army. We got Madcaps coming out, Cataphracts coming out, Big Mason transfer over to saturate that base at 6 again. And slowly but surely, these units will evacuate, including some Apostles that res the Zoryus. Always good to see. Yeah, spending down the Vespene now. Crank refusing to go tier 2. He knows that his window was closed forcibly by his own hand there. Instead, it'll be the Apex tier, Tethvith Swamp. He wants the Tetzoricors, get himself access to the all-important lifesteal unit. And honestly, some Viths would not be bad versus all of the Antseals here. But I don't think Krankendau is going to be able to sustain himself against tier 2. He has nothing to pick the Apostles with. No Bactylisks, which do a lot better against the Apostles since the armor nerf. There's not even any healing in this composition besides the Apostle itself. There's going to be an attempted hold. The static defense is getting shellacked. The Ultracores finish in terms of their eggs, but, well, some of them do. That one out there is unlikely to. Down it goes. And this should be a routing. Krankendau back against the wall. He does not have enough units ready to go here. A reclaimed Ultracore turning against its master. And that's a sign of the times. The Cataphracts will not die. And it's over for Krankendau. M equals Ein. GG. Krankendau is out. And that's Shopkeeper Dog claiming victory. Fatality.
I am a hero!
What's up, Drawn? How you doing? I think even without the Reclaimers there, Krankendau is in a lot of trouble. Even if you took the Reclaimers out of the picture entirely, and yeah, the move out with like Striga Matador would have finished the job too, I think. Maybe not quite as cost efficient. You know. All right, let's take a look at some of the latest rounds here. So it will be Sausage over Lucy, it looks like, in the lower bracket. It will be, let's check the other matches. Newt over Godwheat. Grass over Kutyam. That's a little bit of a surprise, but not a crazy amount. Grass is the higher ranked player. So Newt over Godwheat, Grass over Kutyam. So that means that in the lower bracket, we have Sausage versus Grass Eater, and then we have Newt versus Arbuz. I don't know about the Kasuga Hit 'em Up game. Oh, that game was Dog winning over Crank. Okay, hit him up. Hit him up. Defeated Kasuga. Ooh, baby. Let's go. Yeah, Drawn, this is a tournament. You can see the bracket if you want. Exclamation point B or exclamation point bracket. I'll show you guys the bracket actually, since people might be interested. Yeah, Weekend Wage is double elimination, and it's best of ones until you get to the final 4 matches, which are our upper final, lower semifinal, lower final, and grand final. Those are all best of 3, with the upper seed picking map 1, lower seed picking map 2, and then the upper seed picking the decider if needed. Alrighty. So whilst I get everybody ready for that one, let's see what race hit 'em up rolls. I'll leave them as Zerg for now because that's what was in the overlay. We're going to Crisis Vector for game number 1. At least this map is pretty comfortable for everybody to play, regardless of how long they've been out of the game for. Yeah, Alexander, I actually think we need more people who are not Class 1 and Class 2 to participate in these tournaments, because that creates a lot of value, that creates a lot of interest. I mean, the match between you and Lucy must have been a bit on the closer side. I saw that it lasted a good while. So, I don't know exactly how it'll work. It really is just whoever's available on the day can sign up and see what goes on. It's really hard to get everybody together otherwise, right? We had the Biddy Birthday Bash where everybody signed up for that. So I guess for like funding underclass tournaments specifically is something we're going to have to do, because there's an opportunity cost for me to obviously run it in the first place, right? So, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure, I mean, we're getting to the point where like we funded the show match that's coming up and the show match after it. We funded this weekend wage, and now we're $30 towards the weekend wage next time. If there's nothing else to fund after that point, then we're going to start looking for like an underclass tournament or something. All right, let's see how it goes. Our players are ready for their match. We're going to our best of 3 territory, and I am going to go ahead and... Ooh, okay. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right, before we switch into that, I'm going to go ahead and update the overlay to indicate what Hit 'em Up's race has rolled. He did already play it earlier in the tournament. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Shopkeeper Dog in the top left is our yellow Terran upper seed, and Hit 'em Up in the bottom right is our ultramarine Terran. For once, the lower seed in the matchup. I can't believe it. I believe I did hear Hit 'em Up write his race, so he's been honorable. He's always said the right race, unlike Arbuz, who just is funny about it. We get some TVT. Oh, yeah. Arbuz always lies about his race. That is something you fell victim to on top of everything else. Gonna be a Fulcrum start for everybody involved, and no big surprises there. This is the meta. I'm surprised that Shopdog went Fulcrum first versus Zerg, but am I surprised really? Am I actually surprised? I mean, I feel like Shopdog just isn't a bio player. Like, he has used bio when he believes it was strong or whatever, but I always thought that his mechanics were a little bit better at mech. You know what I mean? His mechanics. Go ahead and get our score line activated there in the bottom left for you guys to gander. It's a 0-0 right now because we just started our series. But this is best of 3 territory. After this match, Hit 'em Up will select map 2. Obviously, at this point, Shopdog has seen in confirmation that it is indeed Terran. It'll be 2 Folk versus 2 Folk. If you're Zerg, you cannot, in fact, float a Fulcrum into the base. Yeah, that's true, actually. Ooh, down it goes. Oh, proxy stockade. Oh, snuffed out. Unbelievable. Shopdog refusing to allow. He knew to look for it. He's like, hey, your Mason Scout didn't get to me. What's going on here? The funniest thing about these two players is that they're trying to out-Johns each other. I'm quoting Nebline for that phrase, by the way. The Johns are apparently when you're like, oh, I'm nervous. Oh, I'm going to be bad. I'm going to be... And then you're actually good. That's basically what happens here, right? Like, Shopdog is like, oh, man, you were supposed to meet in the lower bracket with me. Hit him up. And then obviously, Shopdog and Hit him up meet in the upper bracket, as fate would hold. And then you go a step further than that. Hit 'em Up's like, oh, I'm ready to lose. And then Shopdog's like, it's easy 2-0 for you. They're just trying to out-psych each other so that they still feel like the underdog. And so that there's less pressure. See if Hit 'em Up can make this happen versus Mines. Might get baited in there. Only stuns 2. He's actually got the Vulture advantage. Hold on. There's one more mine here to try to bail Shopdog out. Just in the nick of time as another Vulture round comes out. Should have the HP advantage now. Let's see where that focus fire is. The one in the middle is the one that's wounded. Now all of a sudden, Shopdog is going to have to use the rally off of his latest set of Fulcrums here to clean this up. The one Vulture should be able to kill the Mason before it finishes. Even ends up laying some mines in the process. Ooh, stuns him. And he will disrupt the expansion timing. Dirty! Dirty from Hit 'em Up. His own expansion still won't come up quite in time, but behind all of that, he is adding more Fulcrums. And he's got some Cyclops for defense behind his mines. So, yeah, that's a hit him up move right there. So it will be a stockade behind this. Looks like Shopdog wants to go for the vestry route. Oh no! I know what he's doing! It's Eidolon time! We'll wait for the second stockade to confirm, but Shopdog TVT, he did a lot of this in the Tribunal stage. And going like Blackjack Eidolon TVT is really interesting. So we'll see if he does that. I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to pull out here. Remember, Shopdog only signed up because Hit 'em Up signed up. These two are here because of each other in some way. I mean, Hit 'em Up decided to sign up anyway, but... let's see what happens. All right, Scrapyard second stockade. Let's go! Shopdog is making Eidolons, baby. Eidolon Blackjack. There it is, the Covenant already on the way. Let's go, guys. I'm pumped. I want to see what Hit 'em Up can do against that. He's already making Cyclops. Did he pay attention? Did he watch the Tribunal casts? That's the question. I don't think Hit 'em Up spends a whole lot of time. He was been playing League of Legends instead of RTS, so I think he probably hasn't seen that. But there's the Palladium. Okay, well, Phalanx is a pretty good combo against this. Alexander saying he wanted to see Hepsea versus Hit 'em Up. Me too, man. I also wanted to see Hepsea versus Hit 'em Up. Hepsea woke up as we started, though, so he was not able to sign up in time. If he had just left his name on there, I would have been like, oh, okay, well, here you go. You're still in, but he decided to withdraw formally. At 6 a.m. my time, no less. Shopdog under some duress here. Cyclops are trying to press in. He's going to lift the Ministry. That's a victory in and of itself, as well as killing one Mason. The Ministry is going to just kind of force the Cyclops away, because it will paintbrush damage onto them. It's one of my favorite strategies for TVT. Also, when you're up against Eidolons, lifting structures and forcing them to decloak with them is also... really, really a good strategy, but it's something we haven't seen in a while. The Eidolon wars haven't actually happened in a bit, where it was one player, both players going Eidolons. Now it's a little bit asymmetric. Typically, Shopdog is the one who does it at the high level, and everybody else is just like, yeah, I'm going to make Phalanx. Now, so far, there hasn't been any sniff out of what Shopdog has been doing, right? So Hit 'em Up doesn't know that it's Eidolon. So we just got 4 Eidolons starting to walk down. For some reason, Hit 'em Up decided to leave the base. So Shopdog reclaims his natural and gets back to spending, gets back to mining. Obviously a pretty big deficit there economically. It looks like Hit 'em Up just wants to play a little bit more on the conservative side while he gets his Phalanxes out. So his first 2 are out. He's adding some more as we speak. And there's base number 3. So we are going to get a little bit of a macro game here. Looks good for the mid game. Matadors, Eidolons. What we need to see here is those Eidolons get a good guerrilla warfare fight off. Okay. Oh no, 3 health! The little stutter step that was missing. Now Hit 'em Up's like, okay, well, I'm going to need another star pad, and we're going to go Ant Seals here. Already has a second one done, third one on the way, and it's a lot of Goliaths, interestingly enough. Man, I think Hit 'em Up does know. I think Hit 'em Up knows exactly what's coming. The star pads are on the way for Shopdog. He canceled something that he didn't intend to make there. And what he's going to do is he's going to go Valkyrie to clear the Ant Seal and then use his Eidolons to kill everything without worrying about detection. That's what he's planning on doing here. So the switch into Goliaths to kill the Valkyries to keep your Ant Seals alive so that you can kill the Eidolons. It's so, so beautiful. That's exactly what Hit 'em Up is doing here. I know. I'm the Hit 'em Up whisperer. That's actually their weapon targeting sound, and it's supposed to instill fear in your heart. Or make you angry, one of the two, that's fine. Ministry at the 12 o'clock, or Shopkeeper Dog, as he tries to get a little bit more action on. My door also decided to open very loudly. Nobody was there. Hit 'em Up opened my door as he deploys his Phalanx. Oh, it's still psychological victory, in my opinion. Alexander, the only player who would rather the Eidolons are silent when they attack, like the old days. All right, a third stockade for extra Eidolon production. We got the Valkyries coming. He's only got the two here. He's two more are going to finish pretty soon. Oh, where's this feedback when it was first implemented, you noobs? Valkyries are going to make the Ant-Seals pretty short-lived here, but the Goliaths are going to try to deal with them. Cyclops also getting some pretty good value. Looks like, oh no, the Eidolons are charging right in to face first into danger. That's not where Shopkeeper Dog wanted them at all. He's got some Blackjacks over here to try to flank. Looks like the Ant-Seals have been ground into dust. Oh my god, no! Shop Dog, don't! Oh, that's like 9 Eidolons dead! This is bad. This is very, very bad. Shop Dog is under the pump. His third base was slower. His army had more potential, but it was ground up to a pulp, and the Phalanxes are exiting stage left. Did any of them even die? Well, we'd lost vision of the corpses, so we do not know. Base number 4 on the way for Hit'em Up. More Fulcrums. More. All right, we're going up to 9 Folk. That's very cool. Now we got the Palladium here. So this looks to me like we are going to start to see Phalanx be added into the mix. And Shopdog is saturating his 12 o'clock base. There go all of the Ant-Seal shields. But I don't know that the Valkyries can hang for much longer. And 12 o'clock is definitely under duress. That Ministry is dead. Oh my god, look how deep the Phalanx line goes. How are the Eidolons supposed to deal with that? Ant-Seals are going to stay alive this time around because of the Cyclops and the Goliaths. And canceled was the Ministry, but you can't cancel all the units that are actually done. No money back for you, buddy. You are not the Escozi. And it looks like Hit'em Up is getting ready to take game 1. Not so many opportunities here for Shopdog to come back. He's making 6 Phalanx to try to stall out the push, but he's down soon to be 2 bases as Hit'em Up floats over to 3. I think you can just be pretty confident at this point. You're like, yeah, I killed your 3rd base. I keep resetting your army. It never gets out of control. You're losing all your memento. You're losing all your momentum and your tempo. That was what I was combining. I invented a 3rd word that has already been invented. Some rates have already been filtered in, so this ain't gonna end very well. And, ooh, humongous stuns from the Vultures. Hit'em Up laying those offensive mines. GG is called as the first line of Phalanxes are broken. And Hit'em Up continues to find victory. Win 'em up is real. All right, let's see what happens behind game 2. We are awaiting Hit'em Up's map pick. I'll ping him in a moment as I update the scores. Oh, that's why I couldn't find them. They were hidden. Well, I was really excited to see the Eidolon stuff, and I think it was still pretty cool. I thought Hit'em Up sucked. Yeah, well, incorrect. Ooh, baby! We're going to Magnetron for game 2. Very epic. This is a port of Tokamak from StarCraft 2. I did it because Trigger's favorite map was Tokamak, and he was participating in a show match. Hit'em Up has played on this map once before, at least. Okay, just making sure everything was good. Well, typically I say Cosmonarchy, so Cos is just the... I'm not really sure how you would pronounce it any other way. I think sometimes people say... No, actually, how else would they say it? Cosmonarchy. Cosmonarchy? But that's that doesn't make any sense, because that's not how you pronounce monarchy. Like, you don't say monarchy, you say monarchy, right? It's just cosmos and then monarchy, right? That's the idea. Cosmonarchy. All right, lads, we're going into game number 2 between our homies Shopkeeper Dog versus Hit 'em Up. Let's see what happens on Magnetron. And it does look like we have ourselves a Zerg versus Terran matchup. So let's correct the overlay here. Hope you guys are appreciating Weekend Wage. We got some names we don't typically see. Hit 'em Up versus Shop Dog. Best of 3. Let's see what happens here, because Shop Dog already took a game off of Crankendow earlier in the tournament, and that's very exciting. We have... we have Hit 'em Up in the bottom left, the Cordovan Zerg, and Shopkeeper Dog in the top right, the Maya Blue Terran. Stop trying to trick me into dying. Well, Shop Dog's going mech, so I think he's actually going to be fine to do a more greedy play like he did versus Arbus, where it was Larvosk Hydroth, I believe, was the build order. We are going to see a fairly quick scout here from Shop Dog so we can ascertain what's going on. By the way, guys, this map is a bit of a fun one to try to navigate. So, natural, pretty standard. Third base, mineral only. Fourth base, mineral only. So if you want a gas base, you need to sort of leapfrog from main natural third to the 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock, depending on your spawn. Or you can try to navigate to this low ground base that has extra gas, sieve, wellbore, already made for your harvesting pleasure. Also, there's a... lovely Tensender in the middle of the map that sometimes sees use, but not always. There was a really banger match between Hit 'em Up and Newt on this map, and it was really cool to see the Tensender get used, but I didn't even comment on it because there were so many other cool things to talk about in that match. Man, Cosmonarchy is really cool. I'm glad that so many other people agree that they play in the weekly tournaments, that they participate in our epic events. And we will see double Larvosk into a Circuit on the ramp. So Shop Dog has successfully tricked Hit 'em Up into winning? Question mark? Vulture halfway complete. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my god. So this is a Circuit, right? But we are going to see a Larvosk here. Triple Larvosk before Tech Note is wild, guys. Absurd. Absolutely absurd. What does Shop Dog do? He can't get past the Circuit very easily. He can make a beeline over here. You don't collide with Rilla Rokors. They can't body block. So unless there's a Droleth pulled or something. Man, that's wild. Now, the Shop Dog has been allowed to just leave his Mason in the base. He could make an anchor or something and try to do something really deranged here. But there's a lot of Rilla Rokors coming. That's what he's using this for. And the pool. Pool is on the way. A little bit of mine containment here. And it looks like there will be a second Circuit on the ramp. We got Newt in the chat. What's up, Newt? Hope you're doing well. Shop Dog just does go mech versus Zerg. He went mech versus Crankendow earlier. It was a very close match that he ended up eking out. I'm not so sure about if it's actually better. I think it's probably just a playstyle thing. Bio is, I think, still very, very good versus Zerg, but you don't just get a free Maverick stimmed into their base or whatever like before. So it's a little bit of a adaptation needed for Terran, but Bio is definitely still pretty good. Here we go. Here come the Vultures. They're going to push through the first round. 3 of them is still enough to one-shot Droleth. Let's see if that's what he goes after. Picks one. Oh, misses fluffs the micro on a few of these. The drill's in. He's got to actually get those Vultures on the far side clear of the Droleths. One more kill. Okay, he's up to 4 kills now. Oh, and the Railroad are starting to time out because they're not taking hits and not on Kagra. So I would say this is a pretty reasonable punish, but the problem is, even though he killed what looks to be like 4 to 5 Droleth, there's still so much larva here that it's pretty easy to reposition. Pretty easy to replenish. And the expansion only now coming up here for Shopkeeper Dog. Finally, he's found the Masons. See ya. Ovaleth on the way to clear the mines. We've got more Fulcrums being added. Shopdog has a little bit of tempo, but it is about to expire here. And there's a second Ovaleth being made. Points towards drops. On this map, it can be pretty tempting to drop into this little location beneath the main, right? It's kind of out of the way, like the Crisis Vector 10 o'clock area on the map from the top left spawn, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Sort of 4 o'clock-ish on the bottom right spawn. So let's see. The Zets are going to be inside the drop. They will actually, I think, just barely. Yep. Shopdog saw that. So he should be able to rally his units into a defense on the drop spot. Hit him up, going to be going for 8 pairs of Quas. And he's got 2 other Ovaleths here to use for the Quas drop. So this is going to be an expand. The Ovaleth, I don't know that Hit him up actually noticed this, the fact that the mine was there. It's possible that he saw it and decided not to alter his plan. But if you were trying to say that Hit him up is super Gigabrain, he's so epic, nobody can ever stand to him, he's too good. Here's what I would say, here's my theory, is that he's going to do a combined assault. He sent his drop out to make Shopdog prepare for it, instead of moving across the map, and now he's got the hatch coming down for the expansion, but he doesn't need to worry about defending it, so he sends his whole army across the map. I don't think he's actually taking into account everything. I really think he probably didn't expect that Shopdog would preempt the drop. But if it does, there's backup plans, right? This Ovaleth is actually empty. The first Scout Zeth is revealing that the defensive line has been set. We have no Vorvs here. And another Ovaleth is arriving to show the mines. Here comes this one, which is a fake drop. We'll see what the reaction is from Shopdog. All right, big stuns so far. A lot of dead Zeths as a result. The anchor's going to be brought down. Not so many actual casualties just yet. Meanwhile, the Vultures were brought down away from the drop zone. This other Ovaleth was not actually bitten on as a bait. And so this one, it gets zoned away by one Cyclops and falls back. That's going to be the Zeth drop, I believe. Yep, that's the 6th Zeth drop. We got more Larvosks coming. So many more Larvosks coming, as well as a Vornath. Ministry for base number 3 on the way for Shopdog. He's added the scrapyard. Some Matadors now coming out. So close. So close, but not quite. I loved that. You know, we should have seen him like park it over here to regenerate health and come back in again. That's so beautiful. Alrighty. Quas and Zeths mixed together. Could go for a drop after that. You know, the anchor's now been pushed away, so he could try to get some cheekiness there. Maybe a double drop action. But the Matadors are moving out, and is there much of a defense over here? Well, there's a lot of circuits, that's for sure. Zorka Shroud at the natural. We got reasonable saturation. Zerg coated, you know, grading on a Zerg curve there. All right, the drop is going to be good. This other one is not actually holding back for now. He's thinking about it. Yeah, he is going to send it in, so it'll be a little bit delayed. Ministry leaves the base. Earmarked for that 12 o'clock mineral only. Looks like Shopdog wants to leapfrog towards that position. Zethicores are loose, so they're actually going to try to run in as this drop happens in the natural. This is looking pretty difficult to clear. Obviously, the Zeths are going to be melted by the Matador drop. But here comes this drop. Now the Matadors are busy doing that. They've, you know, lost 5 Masons, or what was it? The Zeths are now going to sink in at 12 o'clock. The push is here. Let's see if Shopkeeper Dog can actually breach the position, because we got 3 Leikas coming, no detection available. The Matadors are going to be worth their weight in gold. We do have another drop. The Zets are going to be cleaned up by the Matadors as the rally is there. The evacuation is there. Matador number 4 going down, I believe. Maybe it was 3. And here comes some Zephyrcores trying to get melee range onto the Cyclops to get that splash damage shared. The Lakers burrows. I think he's held without suffering too much economic damage. A lot of Drolets have gone down, it looks like, though. 5 or 6 Drolets. There's a 7th, and down goes the last of the units. Zet's now coming in to attack. Oh, we outright lost the Ministry? Hold on, Shopkeeper Dog getting totally lost in the sauce there. Oh, a big stun on most of his own units. And now the Ovoleth is also going to support this by soaking up some of the damage, killing even more Masons. 1 HP on the Ovoleth, 25 workers for Shopdog, and a lost 3rd Ministry. The Zeths ate everything there. Shopdog looking in shambles. His attack looked really good initially, but the Lakers came out. All of those circuits, oh my god. We are farming games that are worth casting here. Somebody send these replays to Alex. God damn. All right, double star pad. On the way here for Shopdog. He is going to try to go for the Wraith switch. He knows that Lakers are out. His next mech army is dispatched. Zeth's on the run by, proving their worth, and they can absolutely have free reign over the natural here. The Ovoleth, a full HP Ovoleth is out here, but there's nothing actually in it. So it's going to park itself in the neutral negative airspace behind the base. A lot of Lakers, no detection. Hydrathen on the way. How can you possibly face this, dude? He's going to try. He is certainly going to try, but I think, honestly, when you lose all these units for basically no gain, GG, that is a trouncing. Hit him up 2-0. It was exactly as expected from Shopkeeper Dog. And Hit him up is now in the grand final fighting for first place. Woohoo! Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Let's see how we got here, guys. We can go ahead and take a look at our bracket again. I just want to show you. This is indeed what has happened. We have Hit 'em Up 2-0 over Shopdog. Some pretty good game. I want to see cast Hit 'em Up Kasuga for sure. I also want to see how Kasuga beat Newt. That's probably an interesting one. There's so many replays that I have to go back and cast. But let's take a look. So these two games we might have finished. I'm not entirely sure. But the winner of these two matches will be playing a best of 3 in the lower semifinal. The winner of that match will face Shopdog, and the winner of that match will face Hit 'em Up in the grand final. Unbelievable. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what happens there. My game versus Grass was pretty back and forth. Also, fuck Kasuga. Okay, Kasuga wins sausage. I didn't. That's all I needed to hear. Okay, well, Kasuga defeating sausage is pretty legit. Interesting. So that means that Kasuga will be in the top 4, and Krankendow or Arbuz Budesh will be facing off against him. Man, this bracket is so weird. So you would think that like Krank and Arbuz would be sorted on other sides of the bracket, but that's because you wouldn't have expected them to necessarily lose the matches that they ended up losing. Although Krank, you actually do expect that to some degree. But you're expecting seed number 1, which was Newt, to make it over Kasuga. And then because he fell down to the lower bracket and then he fell to Arbuz, Arbuz moves on to face Krank. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got seed number 8 versus seed number 6, and Kasuga ends up taking the game. So that's a bit of a surprise there. So we'll wait to hear about Krank versus Arbuz. Winner of that match will have first map pick versus Kasuga, but I'll go ahead and at least get the overlay started initially. And congrats to Hit 'em Up for making it to the grand final of his first ever weekend wage. Is that a surprise? I guess it kind of surprises him, and it does also surprise me a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I was actually thinking, oh, there's no way he can defeat everybody, but so far he has. I think if he went up against Newt, it would have been a different story, but, you know, we'll see. See how it goes. Sausage is calling Kasuga a sweat. What the fuck? Any other time? Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Off games, off days. I hear you. Can happen. All right. We'll go ahead and refresh here. Vilius and Kutiam had an almost 30-minute TVT. Beautiful. Looks like Sausage versus Kasuga was not a long game. So that has something to do with it, most likely. Oh, and it doesn't look like Hit 'em Up played versus Kasuga on rank. So I'm gonna need to collect the replays after, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking here. Okay, I'll go ahead and grab the Crisis Vector replay for Newt versus Arbus. Grab Sausage versus Grass. Yeah, I'll have to organize all those later, but that's fine. Do that. All right. All right, I will be right back. When I return, we'll be talking about this next match and all that, but I'm just going to take a few minutes here to go refill my waters and such. So I shall return. Very fun game so far. Stay tuned. Okay, we have returned a little bit earlier than I initially expected, but that's okay because we actually have our next matchup here. It is going to be Krankendow versus Kasuga. Best of 3. And Kasuga says, another pain, as usual. Look at this guy watching Weekend Wage on multiple monitors. Biddy B with his Biddy girl, Biddy baby. I do what I can for those views. Hell yeah. Okay, Krankendow has selected Near Impact going into his first matchup here. So we know that this will be a Zerg versus Protoss match. Our other random player, other than Hit 'em Up, of course, has fallen. All right. Crank versus Kasuga on your screens in 3 seconds or less. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Can't believe Kasuga tried to override me. You know what? Just for that, Kasuga, I set it to meeting. Cranking on the top left is our Aquamarine Zerg. In the bottom right, we have Kasuga, the Black Protoss. Let's see what he can do. Gonna be an interesting match for sure. Going to be a gateway out from Kasuga. Crank wanted to know if it was best of 3 or not. It is indeed. This is our second best of 3 of the tournament. First one being the upper bracket. It was just won by Hit 'em Up, knocking Shopdog into the lower bracket, into the lower final, in fact. This is our lower semifinal. Shopdog already telling Kasuga to play... oh no, he's playing Arbuz. He said make Vibrance. Pretty good. Pretty good. I think Vibrance is great versus Zerg. Something that more Protosses need to incorporate. But let's see what Kasuga does. Kasuga, you know, Sausage does this all the time, but Kasuga is the prototypical, the original, one-base seated player, where he gets his gas cap super fast, try to greed for those Vespene. Delicious, delicious Vespene. Alright, so it was Kagrant Pool Larvosk out from Crank, and we'll see when he goes for his expansion. People were also talking about that, apparently, in the Weekend Wage chat, as I surmise. What's going on, Green Eggs? Hope you're doing well. A couple Legionnaires are coming out initially for Kasuga. He's going to get there just in time to start engaging the Zethrakors. Looks like he's going to be trying to double back so that he can do some 2v4 action over here. Oh, yeah. Well, the Zets have outrun the Legionnaires. There's only Scribes over here, but it is a one-base Ardent play. So no expansion coming just yet. If you're in this situation as Crank, you actually can choose to expand. But because of how Crank typically plays, I think he'll stick it out on one base for a little bit. The reason why I think you can choose to expand here is what excels most versus Positron play, which is likely what Kasuga will do with the one-base Ardent, especially when you see another production structure added. Positrons excel at dealing with units, but they're struggling a lot versus circuits. So you typically want to go for some kind of established foothold around a choke point, and then see if you can't get like circuits and, you know, Zorkas or whatever. That way you can get yourself the Lakes and all that. However, this could theoretically, the Positron comes out now, but this could theoretically turn into a drop, a Cantor drop from Kasuga, or a Storm drop. He likes both of those. I think he's a little bit more of a Storm drop player if he can help it. It's a little bit easier to deal with a drop with a centralized defense around one base, but I just think it's better for the mid-game of Crank to actually go for an expansion soon. And when you see fast Ardent, I think you can do that safely, but you do need to watch for what's to come after. Hydra's then on the way. That's a good option there as well. You can use it to defeat the incoming Envoy. And it will be in a Cantor following the Positron. We don't have the Envoy starting up just yet. The Avaloth is on the way for Crank, on the other hand. And we know that Kasuga is a big fan of the Witness as well. His Legionnaires just kind of sharking back and forth, posturing. And there's the Envoy. And still no expansion for our Protoss player. And that does get scouted by the Zeth. So he's going to park the Legionnaires over here. You know, he could go for Envoy a Cantor and load the Legionnaires up with it. That might, in fact, be what he's planning. We'll find out together. Avaloth loads up 3 Zeth, 3 Quas. No defenses yet for Kasuga in the main base. Pretty expensive on just one base to be doing all of these things. So his Herald arrives. Scoops up the Acantor and dispatches. It feels like both of these players have a lot of eggs in their drop basket, but especially Kasuga. Zerg can explode into extra Droleth to saturate a base, even if they take it late. You can't really do the same thing as the Protoss player. Best he can do is start making artisans from the embassy and making maybe a second embassy, but then he's spending a lot of his money on, well, not military, and so he might get overrun there. Let's see, is he going to load up the Legionnaires? He can fit all of them in there. They, oh no, the Legionnaires do cost 2 transport space now. I remember back in the day when they only cost 1. So he's going to unload them initially, and then scoop the other ones up there. A fine tactic, I suppose. Here's the drop. Let's see what his units do to respond with that. He's drilling the workers away, first and foremost, which is definitely good instincts. And now his own drop will start to actuate. Going after the Hydra then is just incidental. And he wants to unload the Acantor somewhere he can get some juicy shots off for sure. Meanwhile, the Larvosk goes down to the Legionnaires, and they are going to start to port away. No expansion just yet. This got cleaned up nicely, but the Scribes have not returned to work. So, a bit sloppy on the micro. Let's see how well this Acantor does with the follow-up. Is Kasuga still down in workers? And he slowed down the expansion attempt. We got a big Zerg force leaving the base. And the Quasar and Hydras are trying to absorb this pressure. Hydra lives with a little bit of HP. He could kill these workers over here, but I think he might need to get that Acantor back at home for the defense. Got some Vorvs out as well. Back to mining. Zealots. Another Positron. Another Herald as well. Maybe trying to scoot around here. The Positrons can do a lot of damage versus Swarms, but the Zealots need to be in the right positions in front of them. There's not really an easy way for Krankendow to push into this base, but maybe if the Positrons give them really good picks at the same time, that could be a good move. Oh, the Acantor, it's so low that, well, the Envoy rather is so low that the Acantor is very brittle, but he only ends up picking one of the Positrons, so still great splash options here, and as the Acantor shows itself, those patrolling Hydras in the main base can be put to good use elsewhere, but still no expansion for either player, as Kasuga equipped himself with the necessary metal to steel himself against this push. Zealots. Ecclesias will help keep him alive. Herald also does the same. Another redrop here. Zealots are going to clear this out, and the Scribes should just get right back to work. The Nexus is on the way. Some kind of economic leapfrogging. Oh, that was an instant snap of the Envoy. He could not unload there, but does it matter? The Positrons are doing so much damage. They need to be focusing the right targets, though. They had a great lineup right over here, and instead they chose to attack off to the right-hand side. The Drolet's being pulled with no more splash damage. It should be an easy pick on some of these units. Unfortunately for that Herald, he goes down without much to show for it. One more Positron has made its way across the map. An Artisan idle at the 5 o'clock. The Zealots that cleared the way for their Scribes to get back to mining are now going to be dispatched to the front line. But Kasuga has a little bit of a path out of this, but Krankendow has a superior economy, and that's not going to change when Kasuga gets his expansion up either. Struggling a little bit. If that Acantor had actually landed, that fight could have been a lot less desperate for Kasuga. There was definitely potential. Definitely potential there. Now we got some Vorvs. I don't think he realized how much kill threat the Hydras had on the Envoy in that moment. And he also definitely thought he could unload where he clicked, but nope. If you see this tile, it is not pathable. A little bit of a brain fart. Trying to evacuate with his army, but the Vorvs are going to make that difficult. Yeah, the Herald is spoken for now. Not going to be able to escape. Another one rallied to death. Those are pretty important units, and not the cheapest either in the Protoss arsenal. It feels like right about now, we are going to need some kind of defensive tech, and the Positron getting sniped is pretty huge. Kasuga can and likely will be overwhelmed here if his Positron micro is not sublime. He's spending a lot of shots off on individual targets. Hydra's getting softened up nicely. Ski backed on the way, so looks like Kasuga's bought himself some time to defend. He's definitely on the back foot, and I don't foresee an easy way out from him. More Positrons, more Heralds. Hasn't been the most cost efficient. The Hydra's looking for any opportunity they have. The Bulwark will try to restore shields. The Matrix will do the same. Base number 3 on the way for Crank. A pretty comfortable game. He's happy to play macro on near impact. And a unitary union begins for Kasuga. Will we see the vibrance? No detection for Crank, remember? His Avaleth is off to the side, parked away from the natural of Crank. So far, I would say Crank has definitely weathered the storm, but there were some dicey moments. Kasuga could have gone for an execution there. Doing his best to be Hardcore gaming. And he had a hard time of it versus Hit 'em Up. That's how he got here. Went up against Hit 'em Up in the upper bracket. Now he's in the lower bracket. Two games separate one of these players from continuing on in the tournament, and the other from going down. The Ovaleth gets a really nice scout of what's going on, including seeing the Unitary. It might just escape if Crankadow wants to keep it alive, but instead he ends up targeting it in the wrong direction. Now the Witness will reveal that the army is still kind of crawling. The map is flush with Crankadow units. Zerg just about everywhere. When you ask yourself Zerg here, the answer is yes. Anti-drop defenses on the way. Not that that's liable to happen anytime soon. Vibrance is indeed. Well, I say that. There is an envoy on the way. The Witness sniped. Left is rubble on the ground as the Ovaleth announces itself. Another one for detection. That's going to be very important for the Vibrance. Capping the ridge inside his main and natural much later than we typically see him do. That's the state of the game. No third base on the way, and Crankadow is very well saturated at this one. Of course, his natural also looking more than pretty enough. Yeah, beautiful stuff here. Getting base number 4. Tethvith complete, so he goes for some Tethzoricors. Has his Bactyls, has a good number of Hydras, could use some more. An Asiliant to follow up the Vibrance. Realistically, I think, with these defenses, it's hard for one Vibrance to get a lot of value, but there is no detection here at that base, so if the army is revealed to be on the other side of the map, you can make some things happen. Ooh. Okay, it looks like Demiurges are a likely situation. We have had 2 Artisans harvesting this ridge in the corner, and it's an easy counter to that is to build a pair of Naths. Send one to each spot or whatever, but not happening this time around. We do have a little bit more coming in the way of Iziricors. Those are likely to be turned into Tethzoricors. More Grand Libraries. I would love to see some Amaranths added, actually. That'd be very good. Shopdog in the chat saying that he thinks that skipping out the Synod and just doubling up on the Unitary and the Arden is probably better. I think it can be. I also think that we're seeing the Cantors be added back in. I think that's a great choice, but not as a drop, instead as a mainstay of the army. Although we don't really know where that drop went. I saw something happen over here. Oh. The Witness is getting deep. Sees what's going on. Tier 2 could be on the way here for Crank in a moment. He's in a very comfortable 4-base position. Not harvesting guests just yet. It doesn't actually look like... Yeah, there goes the Witness. But I don't see a draw. The Envoy was being made. Maybe it got canceled. And a Demiurge is on the way. Amaranths for the front line. The Vibrance is actually just going to be playing the supportive role here. It does reveal itself. Now, Crankadow has an army. An army to be feared for sure. But right now, his damage versus armor is actually pretty minuscule. He's making a lot of Hydras, which will help out with that a little bit. He doesn't have the most armor end. Dwarves are just going to get shredded, so we can discount them pretty much. And he doesn't have any Zorius either, so let's see how this fight goes. It's going to be a lot down to positioning. Positrons out in front is not what you want, so some of those may end up going down. The Servitor will speed everything up. A great storm to dissuade any further action. We've got multiple Cantavis over here, but they're walking right into the Bactyl line. It doesn't look like Crank has noticed it just yet. Tethzoricors are trying to punch through the bottom. The Asiliants are responsible for dealing with those, but they're busy trying to deal with the front line up here. A Demiurge arrives too late to the battle. There's no reinforcing that can be done. The Servitors are going to be ground to a pulp unless the fact that there is no damage available here starts to come back to bite him. The Demiurge stays alive. The Demiurge is the only thing keeping Kasuga in this battle, and it has fallen! Down will go the units that were considering worshipping the Protoss feet, but now instead, Kasuga, he's better learn to hover because his legs have been amputated. The Cantor will be dropped as a Hail Mary. There are some claws left over. 20 Hydras on the way. He's going to go after trying to kill the third base. And, Crankadow is considering his options. He's not pushing Wonton across the map feels like he absolutely should and could. Instead, base number 5 on the way. He'll start saturating it, making some pairs of Nathracors to undoubtedly patrol the skies, make sure that the corner bases are not the territory of Kasuga. Yeah, it feels a little bit too easy. Kill me for sure. Stop play food. Kasuga knows that he's been routed. When you hold like that, you lose your momentum. And down will go. The Demiurge immediately popped like nothing. The tier 4 unit for Kasuga. He's going to have a lot of cost efficiency with the splash damage in this choke point, but there's enough meat behind it to overwhelm. Nothing mysterious about it. Hydra's slowly overwhelming the Amaranths. The Vibrant's trying to keep things alive, but it will go down as well. And now leveraging against the Acantor. You're not going to be able to splash that out. No GG from Kasuga. He only concedes, knowing that he has been bested. Well, Kasuga gets to pick map 2 in this best of 3 series, and that will be game 1 going the way of Crank. Shopdog wants a rematch from Crank, so he did request that Crank win. Kasuga will select Crisis Vector as the next map, so we will go ahead and host that. Kraken requested a minute to use the bathroom. Kasuga said, "No, hold it. Kill me fast." Top 10 Kasuga lines. I thought I didn't add the mainstay. It's really funny because as I keep adding more and more words, it's going to get harder and harder to use those words for descriptions. I do still say phalanx when I'm referring to stuff that isn't the phalanx. If it's very clear I'm not talking about it, like if there's no Terran in the matchup, or they're not going mech or something, I can be like, yeah, there's this defensive phalanx over here, because that's an appropriate use of the term. But I guarantee, yeah, people are probably still going to find that confusing. Whatever. Yeah, phalanx the formation. Our players are ready. Let us continue our weekend waging. After this series, we have 2 more. So let's see what's behind game 2 of this series. We're going to Crisis Vector. And we will indeed see Krankendow in the bottom right. Our Mahogany, no, Burnt Umber Zerg. In the top left, we have Kasuga the Black Protoss. God, we just immediately getting owned. He's like specifically saying, I'm not sharing with Jujic. And then Jujic is like, I don't want it. It's McDonald. All right, Kasuga going Gateway. Of course, no surprise there. But Krankendow is likely going to open the same thing as well that he did before. Not really a humongous surprise. Oh, I just realized my logo there was a little off-center. Let me just fix that real quick. I did replace it with the new logo that Veek and I collaborated on. Veek did most of the actual legwork for it. Some of the designs had to be filtered out. Okay, so as we get a little bit deeper into this series, I feel like these 2 players are ones that absolutely can hack it and improve from their current ranks. Now, Krankadao is Class 1, Kasuga is Class 2. But Kasuga took some impressive scalps, albeit in best of ones so far. Defeating Newt is no small order. But defeating... going from defeating Newt into defeating Sausage, who's a bit more of a domestic rival, if you want to call it that, based on their class, since he's in closer range. I'd say Sausage is he's not pleased with how that one went as far as rank is concerned. Although he was saying he was trying to yell at Kasuga to let him have fun. So I guess there was no fun to be had. Zethicors will meet the Legionnaire immediately and ignore it. You know, the Legionnaire could just go in and start attacking the worker line if the Zets are going to ignore it, right? And that looks like exactly what's going to happen here. But a pair of Quas are out, so their efficacy will be limited. He changed his focus. He wouldn't have gotten the kill anyway, necessarily, but he did change his focus. Just trying to be a little bit cheeky about it. He's got more Legionnaires coming. Now, what does he got behind this? Some more Legionnaires, of course. Forcing some reactivity. Hardened Authority on one base once again occurring for Kasuga. Looks like he's withdrawing with the two Legionnaires on the other side. Ah! Oh, he still lost a scribe. Ah! Oh, he still lost another scribe. He's lost multiple scribes. 3 scribes. Just being a nuisance. One Zethicor is not likely to kill any workers, right? But it's annoying. It's very annoying. Losing those workers is a pretty big deal. Krankadao might just be able to overpower him with pure Zeth Vorv. With some Quas support. Hey, check that out. Pretty fast tech into the positron. No embassy this time around, although it's early in the day. We might see this build order shape up to be similar to the previous one. Although I guess he would fit the embassy here. I was wondering, like, where is he even going to put it if he does put it somewhere? Try to put it here. However, I do think actually going for just straight positron here is probably a little bit superior. Especially if Crank decides to take the bait and then go for some sort of similar attack to game 1. The positrons could just crush. They could just wreck face. So if he gets up to like 3 of them with a healthy number of Zealots on the front line, and a Herald as well to boot to let those Legionnaires start to speed everything up when they die, invariably, that could be very, very potent. Hydroten on the way for backup. No expansion just yet for Crank. He's going to stick to his guns. And his guns are aimed directly at Kasuga. I'm very happy. Oh, lost a Vorvicor. That was unforced. I'm very happy that Kasuga has found some success, though. It's been a while since we've seen him take a super active role in the community. He's been playing a little bit more recently. But to see him in a tournament, that's pretty cool. I think this is the first time I'll be data entering Kasuga into the bracket. It certainly will be for Hit 'em Up. Might be for Shopdog. I think he played in one other one. So, not entirely sure. Uh-oh, the Vorvs have been given access. What are you going to do now, Kasuga? You're going to lose a positron if you're not careful. The otherwise withdrawing from the force is interesting. He's trying to try to drill on top of the Vorvs. Only losing one scribe so far. That makes a lot of sense because Vorvs are just not as good at DPSing. All right, here comes the counter. The seesaw back and forth. You can see he's just trying to keep him entertained, but it doesn't look like Crank believes in the power of his army to actually do anything versus this. If Kasuga decides to move across now, I would not blame him, and I actually think he stands a really good chance at defeating Krankadaw's army, except for the fact that Hydras are coming. Hydras will definitely make this more of a micro battle. You know, Krankadaw obviously having a superior economy and closer reinforcement point makes it really hard for Kasuga to win with a frontal attack. But here's the problem. Kasuga is going for a frontal attack, and very similarly to Game 1, he's expanding behind it. This time, though, Krankadaw already has his expansion done. An unfavorable trade of the pool units could result in Krankadaw losing some momentum here, but I can't see a world where Kasuga actually kills him. He's only got 4 positrons. The army scouted out by that one random Zeth, so from bad to worse here a little bit. 5th Positron on the way, but will not be part of this initial skirmish. You can see him trying to get right up on top of him, but even though he cuts through some of them, the Positrons on the south are being killed. Hydra's starting to struggle, though. All the pool units get completely crushed. Hold on! Just like that, the Positrons muscling through what Krankendow had. He did not focus down the Positrons that were stepping to him, and he needs to do so now. He's actually got nothing! Kasuga delivers the pain! The pain payload is here, and the Heralds speed everything up as well. Vaulting the Protoss army directly into the base. The Drollets are pulled. When the Drollets are pulled, you know there's a problem. Down will go a Larvosk. Down will go another. I don't think there's anything Krankendow can do. His Iziracors were not there in time. His Hydras did not focus the Positrons. Mathematically, it is not possible for him to stop this onslaught. 8 workers. The Iziracors will be killed as well. He cannot kill Kasuga's army. GG. We go to game 3. Beautiful. See, Kasuga just needed to believe in himself. Win and ass, as Hit 'em Up says. Because he did say, Kasuga did say win or ass. They're not allowed to work. We will go Serenity for our next game, which, by the way, it's kind of a wild map pick. It's the closest rush distance one. He's like baiting Kasuga forward. Alexander. Sometimes I feel like playing Protoss for funsies, but then I remember I would be playing Protoss. Yeah. Kasuga just won the game, and he says, Crank, you really love to bully me. What the fuck? Interesting choice. All right, lads, we are getting into our final match in our second best of 3. We've got 2 more after this. Kasuga, our Black Protoss in the bottom left, fighting for survival against Krankendow, the Aquamarine Zerg in the top right. I like the way this is looking for our Zerg player on Serenity. By the way, how does video... Hello? How is this still happening? This is the modified one, by the way. This does have the tank hull fix, the Phalanx hull. Changes to that, so... Wasn't it like that in the first version as well? I can't remember. It's been so long. All right, I'm guessing it'll be the same build order from Crank and the same build order from Kasuga, so they're just going to keep butting heads until something changes. The pool is completing for Crank, and it is a 2-gate indeed. He's spacing out his structures, which is an interesting choice. Looks like whatever Dog Lived in Kutiam were playing, I'm assuming it was Ascozi versus Terran. It was not actually uploaded to Replay Kraken, so they must not have been playing it ranked. That's interesting. With the double gateway on the way, Legionnaires are once again masked, but they're not moving across the map. And this is the quickest rush distance that we have in the pool, I think. So it feels interesting that Kasuga is showing restraint this time around. Ardent Authority on the way. Very similar build order then. It's kind of wild that Kasuga won the other game. Like, it really shows you the knife fight, the the Blade's End balancing that Zerg is under the threat of. Since Krankendow did more damage to Kasuga in the last game, but still ended up losing. This time around, though, he's done minimal damage. Maybe that's good for him. Only one Zeth left. No, Kasuga, just attack move. Don't try to lead it. When they have that teleport feature, you can just teleport with an attack move. You don't need to do all this fancy footwork. Easy clapagus. A little bit of economic harassment, that's about it. So it's Zeth Pool, Zeth Quaz. I'm guessing we're going to see the Hydrathen pretty quickly here, yeah. He scouts the Ardent Authority. He knows that it's going to be the same composition. Grand Library on the way. So we're going to see Zealot, Ecclesiast, Positron, Herald. That's going to be the comp from Kasuga. The Legionnaires are just to riposte the early attack, maybe apply a little bit of pressure. Now, I said on Near Impact that Krankendow can expand. I think on Serenity it's a little bit different for a variety of reasons. But scouting this position, especially since we aren't going to see the slower articulation of it, hilarious, from Kasuga, you know, we're seeing the angle be a little bit different on behalf of Kasuga going for the... oh, he actually is going to the embassy. Okay, so I was going to say, Kasuga is not doing the more feint-oriented of this. It will be a Herald, but this is probably going to be an Acantor, since he's gone Embassy, unless he's not doing Drop. There's still room for that. But as a result of his success in the previous game, and grabbing a second Positron definitely makes sense, but, you know, the Embassy is going to take some value from him. He has capped his Ridge on one base. Zethacor will poke in to see what's going on there. Some Hydras are already out. That's the main adaptation that we're seeing out of Krankendow. He knows he has a little bit of room there. Yeah, Zeth not actually poking in to confirm no expansion. That might be a little bit of information Krankendow would like to have right now. He's got his anti-drop, but there's... Oh, it'll be a Storm drop then. Cantavus on the way. Servitor is an interesting choice. I guess it's just to keep units being made. A little bit of HP, obviously some hit scan damage. But when it dies, it speeds things up. However, the Herald makes every unit have that ability, so it's not as significant, right? In that sort of position. So with Cantavus halfway complete, the Envoy will be here to scoop it up. We'll see what else comes with it. The Storms were giving some value on Near Impact, but I don't think Kasuga has so much room to get much done here in this spot. Storm will go down, but there's so many units to defend. It's going to be a Quaz drop from the Avaleth, and plenty of advance warning will be afforded Krankendow. Drop is already leaving the base. It's going to hug around the other side. I don't think the Zethacor is going to spot it, so... It does, though, depend. It could end up happening here on the second round. Ooh! Okay, Crank should see it. Yeah, Crank and Kasuga both saw that, so... Now the drop is going to be parked, in theory. No, he's going for it. And look at where the Hydras are. He's going to burrow. Oh, man, this could be very brutal. It's only one Cantavus. It's not the biggest loss, but let's see what happens. Now the Unburrow happens, and the Storm is going to be initially used, but doesn't get any kills. Just softens some units up, and the Envoy almost snapped immediately. There's a cute little Storm on the back end. He scoops it up after. Nebleim was doing this to top Ramen, but that was back when the Cantavus could be inside a transport and still channel the Storm, so it's pretty ridiculous moves back then. He's just trying to be as capable of doing anything here, but he's lost all of his energy, so he will need to wait for that. The drop is in. Not likely to get too much done here. Let's see what he does. And just ends up unloading a couple and then going from there. Cantavus still kind of moving around, looking for some kind of break. Let's see. How on point is Krankendow? He could lose a lot of workers here. Ooh! Okay. That's a significant bounty there. 9 kills. That's a lot of dead Droleth. Hadn't yet transferred it over to the natural. Down goes the witness, detected by the Ovalith. But a lot of information for Kasuga in the process. Qua's just kind of heckling on the side. They will kill the Sidon if unopposed. He's going to force Kasuga's hand. Some anti-drop defenses here. Where did the Envoy go? Did the Envoy die? I guess so. Yeah. Unless it went back. Oh, no. It went back home to scoop up the Acantor. That's amazing. That's incredible to me that he just left the Cantavis here. No. No, Crank. Oh, he just did it. Oh, no. No, Kasuga! Oh, he stayed alive. Dude, that's wild. Crank was not looking. Adding static defense, holding the move out, or at least attempting to. There's a lot of Protoss coming. There is a lot of Protoss coming, and I actually don't know if Krankendow can hold it. Circuits get up, that might give him a chance. Almost feels like he needs a Khazitra here. He's not going to have time to make it, though. Here comes the Acantor. He probably needed to snipe that to have a chance here. Let's see if he can focus down the positrons. That's the key detail here. His units are all clumped up. He's trying to split them around, but the units are decolliding out of the larva. Oh my god, the positrons are shredding everything. Kasuga has done it. He's even unloaded the Acantor in the back line. GG. That's my Kasuga right there. Defeating Crank and pushing us into a PVT lower final. Wow. Okay. I was not expecting that outcome. Unbelievable scenes. He's going to go back to Demaloon now. Shopdog picking his next map. Playing some TVP. We'll see how that goes. Damn. Kasuga taking some names here. Newt, Sausage, and now Frankendow. I bet he thought he'd be done playing by now, so he's like, wait, I still play? I had to change my ID and rehost the lobby. Get our next best of 3 overlay ready to go. Guys, this one will be interesting. Kasuga wants vengeance on everybody. He remembers what Dog did to him, but does he remember when he 3-0'd Dog and he forced him to go double treasury? Yeah, Shot Dog's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Psychological warfare achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on. It is time for Shopkeeper Dog to take on Kasuga, our black Protoss in the bottom right. Shop Dog is ours in Wall-Eye Brown Terran in the top left. And we are going to see a mech play out of him. Will he go Eidolon Blackjack versus a man known as Kasuga? Will that be a thing? Can we assume that? Gateway on the way for Kasuga. Shopdog is, well, I would definitely put him as heavy favorite in this matchup. But to be honest, I haven't actually seen him play TVP that much. He last played TVP against Sausage in ranked play, in tournament play. I'm sure he's played, like, play in terms of practice games or whatever, but I haven't seen him, so I can't really rate him. But he did 3-0 Sausage. The games looked pretty straightforward. Shopkeeper Dog has pretty solid macro. His hands are pretty hot. You can tell he's up to 600 APM right now. Unbelievable. And 2-gate open. Kasuga is... he's a homie. You know what I mean? He's a homie. 3-gate versus the Terran of Shopdog. Well, maybe he did this versus Newt as well. We'll find out. We will find out. Guys, just so you know, we are $20 away from funding our next weekend wage preemptively. It's pretty awesome. Our next weekend wage will take place 2 weeks from now. It is going to be specifically on the 3rd of January, 2026. It will not have the Escosi available yet, but the one on the 17th of January will. At least that's my hope. That's my plan. Appreciate the donation so far on streamlabs.com/pronogo. Godwheat has given us some cash money. Somebody else who gave us some cash money was Mr. 420 Quickscops. He's from Aussie, and he's a homie. He's been supporting for some time now, and he pumped up our funding to complete the funding for this tournament, and then get us started on the next one. So that's why we started off with 20 bucks to our name. Godwheat donated the other 30, so it's 30-20 from the split there. You're taking Canadian and Australian money when you win money here, just so you guys know. There is the Ministry as well. Okay. So Shopdog going to go for a pretty normal timed expansion. It's actually a 4-gate start here with a Hierophant on the way. I don't know if I like this play from Kasuga. What can you use from the Protoss Gateway that you can actually produce at a rate of 1 base for production? You can't produce 4 prod Strider off of 1 base, I don't think. I don't think you have enough minerals for it. So then you start to factor in Zealots. Okay, that could definitely work. But I think like Cyclops into Matador does wreck your face a little bit. So it would seem anyway. Clearing the initial mines, Kasuga is going to have a hard time navigating outside his base. Without alerting Shopdog. Is he on an attack move? He is, yeah. So that makes it even easier for the mines to alert you. If they just detonate on their own, they don't alert you on the minimap or anything. 3rd Fulcrum on the way, and a lot of vultures are here. Only 1 mine defensively directly at the natural choke. Will we see any more laid? It doesn't look like it. Shopdog's going to accept this 1 base committal. Has been slowed. And he's actually building a scrapyard and only producing 1 vulture at a time right now. Okay, some more mines are being set up. The Ministry is done, but he's just making masons out of it for him now on the high ground. He knows that he's going to have a hard time holding the low ground versus what Kasuga has been producing. Is he actually able to just run straight through all the vulture fire? I actually don't know the answer to that. The Legionnaires can certainly play Minesweeper, though. Yeah, only 1 mine left. It could be a money hit, though. That's a pretty good hit. That is a pretty good hit. So we've lost 2 of our Legionnaires here. Oh, no. The 1 Zealot trying to brave the fight. Still, the Ecclesiasts are going to die and speed things up. This could allow the Protoss army to get right on top. 3 Matadors are about to finish. Can they turn the tide of the army? I feel like the answer is yes. Let's see, can he focus down the Matadors? He's trying to kite backwards. I don't really think that works out very well versus them. Slowing on the Matador was great, though. And now let's see. Maybe, just maybe, he can focus down the last of the Matadors. He's trying to get rid of the damage if he can. He doesn't have too many more units coming. Well, no, scratch that. He actually has a lot. 3 more Matadors are on the way. If the Hierophant goes down, this is actually holdable for Shopkeeper. But he's focusing down the wrong targets, in my opinion. And a couple of units have made it into the main base mineral line. No more Striders to do consistent damage. This one's isolated and surrounded. Repairs coming in for that Matador, perhaps? I'm not quite entirely sure. Zealots have arrived as well. Okay, it's a dirty hold right now. Shopkeeper Dog is not out of the woods just yet. Going right after that Vulture as soon as it pops out. No hope for laying mines. We've got 3 Matadors still left, and more Vultures are on the way for that consistent damage to pair with the Matadors. 1 Matador very low. 1 Matador very, very low. Looks like instead he's going to try to get that attack speed buff, and he does, but he needs to actually focus down the enemy targets. He's got more Zealots coming in. He could go after the main base instead of try to get that mineral line heckled a little bit. Still producing pretty steadily across the map. And the last of this next round are falling. Remember what I said about that Hierophant. It's crucial to Kasuga's push right now. And it does look like the Zealot maxing will continue. Does he have anything else here? A Strider, seemingly forgotten about. These Matadors taking a lot of a beating. Is no ranged units right now. The Ecclesiast being the only exception. Can go after the Scrapyard. And probably should. That'll deny the Blackjack. And Matador from future purchases. Now going after the Matador as he can. One of the Zealots does end up going down. He's forgotten entirely about this Draken, and it could be helping him out so much. Vulture gets a little too antsy, ends up going down immediately. Some of these Matadors are getting pretty close to getting eliminated here. You can see him sharking around with Zealot Ecclesias versus Terran Mech. It's not something that you see every day. He spots the Ministry in the corner. He's already seen that, of course. Now the Strider was remembered. It's going to come in a big way. Zealots are pocketed off. You can tell that he doesn't really want to go after that. Instead, he's going to go after the Scrapyard again, just trying to make it harder and harder for Shopdog to make anything happen. Down goes the Blackjack. The Goliath might be next. Oh yeah, the Scrapyard's cracked. The Matadors were not undeployed. And only now are they going to try to ambulate forward. I don't think it's going to be enough. Kasuga's making more and more Striders Tier 1. 4-gate to win versus Shopkeeper Dog. The legend himself. If Shopdog gets bested by this, it does throw a wrench into the plans. Down will go the lower Goliath. The upper one is next in line. And I think that's GG. Kasuga, after an excruciating amount of rush, it must have been 4 minutes of prolonged combat. I don't see Kasuga losing from here. Kasuga is so absurdly strong in this tournament, apparently. Unbelievable scenes. Down goes a Vulture. Shopdog holding on desperately. He knows he has a worker lead. He just hasn't been making the right units, it feels like. Although it's pretty hard to make units at this position. Look, his Ministry's going to go down. His Ministry will be destroyed. He has a replacement lined up, at least. Oh my god, the repair is good. But the more Striders are arriving. This is draining so much of his money. He's waiting for more Vultures. Shopkeeper Dog, his units are being eliminated left, right, and center. His Masons are spending all their money just to repair, just to stay alive, just a little bit longer, but that's it. GG, Kasuga, he's defeated Shopkeeper Dog. I can't believe what I am seeing. Wow, all right. Well, what's Kasuga's map pick then? I can't remember what he picked last time. It was Near Impact. Crisis Vector. Yeah, he can't pick Crisis Vector. He's got to pick something else. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, map 2 coming up. Let's see if Kasuga can do it. Back-to-back wins versus Class 1 players in a series play would be pretty outrageous. It'll be Near Impact. That's what Krankendow picked versus this guy. It worked. Kasuga picking a map that he just lost on. Pretty ballsy. See what he can do. PVT. 4-gate was not on my, not what I expected. Hey, it's Ayud in the chat. What's up, guys? I know, Jujik. Some of these games have been pretty good, and apparently there's been some really epic ones that I haven't even seen yet. So that's epic. We are live with game number 2 between these two players. Kasuga, the black Protoss in the bottom right. Shopkeeper Dog in the top left is our Zinwaldai Brown once again. And he is Terran. Going to be going for that mech opener. Is Kasuga going to 4-gate his way to the grand finals? Is that actually going to happen? I feel like it's hard to say and hard to predict. But I have a feeling that Hit 'em Up will have an answer. So hopefully he's got more in the tank. First gateway is on the way for our Protoss player. You know, so many of the Weekend Wage grand finals have been rematches of the upper final, right? And so seldom has the man in the lower bracket come up and won versus the man in the, you know, after rematching and then they win the rematch. That's so seldom occurred, right? We've had Newt do that to Ayud once. We had Zeki do that to Newt once. And I think we had Zeki do that to Oya once. So I can remember 3 times where it occurred. But the rematches are just too damn strong most of the time for the player who just sat there and watched and laughed and enjoyed Twitch chat and bantered and played League of Legends and all that stuff. Shopkeeper Dog up against 2-gate. Wow, Coffee Stream Bot. I agree. You can visit Pronogo and Veek7's YouTube coffee page, rather. YouTube page. We don't have a YouTube page that's Pronogo and Veek7. We do have a No Frauds Club. That's a good one. I should probably interview Jonathan Blow again. He announced his next game. Okay, it's a 1 Fulk expand. After a 4-gate, I guess his gamble here is that he's not doing 4-gate again. 2-gate GL, HF, Grand Library. I don't think we have an HF structure. We probably never will, but it should be on the same race as the GL, though. Wait, GL... There's no F unit for the Protoss, though. I was going to say, you could do the GL HF build, which is Grand Library, Herald, and then what do you call it? Like, there's nothing that you could call the F. Heretic Forge. Oh, shit! There is Hall of Heretics. That's a structure, but that was a planned Tier 4 or Tier 5 structure. Back when I thought maybe Protoss would have Tier 5. That would be a really funny way to add stuff to Protoss, by the way, is just be like, I could buff their Tier 2 and Tier 3 options some more, but I'll just add Tier 5. And then suddenly, Hall of Heretics and Terminal Mainframe arrive. Alright, a 3rd gate. Snugly in the middle of the Ridge and the Geyser. It's going to be 3-gate Herald. Okay, 3-gate Grand Library making Herald. And that last match took so long, even though it was only like an 8-minute match or whatever. It felt there was like so much action. That one feels like it was an elite banger. Cantavis on the way. No embassy, so we know this is going to be just like a walkout Cantavis. All right, that is the 4th Fulcrum. It is refreshing to see the Legionnaire be used in matches. I agree. So, maxing out on production right about now is Shopdog. He's laying a lot of mines and trying to be more active on the map with his vultures. I think that works out pretty well, actually. You can see him scooting forward immediately as those mines pop. And the last time, there's so many mine pops, but Kasuga's army never got whittled down, right? So that should be a Zealot kill right there. Any little thing that you can help to deal with this enemy force is going to be pretty big. Now, Herald makes it a little bit harder, though, to just like pick out individual units and then get away freely. Herald Hierophant combo means that you're slowing some of the vultures and you're speeding your own army a little bit forward when one unit dies. So I can see where that's going to make this a little bit more challenging. Kasuga already adapting and has a pretty good spot here. So it's going to be mass Volt to try to hold on. I think this is more than enough vultures to hold on, actually. I don't think Kasuga can get much done. We'll see how good his Cantavis usage is. Some of the mines getting detonated up there. That's a Herald catch. Great choice there. Try to pick the Herald and see if you can make it happen. Oh, that's a big storm, though. Not quite finishing off the Herald. It does have 3 armor. Yeah, going after the Cantavis is beautiful. Now, you have invoked the Protoss Wrath, because now the Herald is still alive, even though it only has 16 health, and so every fallen Protoss unit is an additional speed boost. But, again, the Vulture count here is just too damn high, and he's got more of them, finishing up at each moment. Once the front line starts to falter, it shouldn't be very difficult here for the Vultures to clean house. The reinforcements are taking their sweet time to move up. There's a lot of Striders there. Down will go the Herald. That'll make the survivability of this attack a lot less. We do have more units coming in, and no more mines were laid, which is a bit of an error for Shopdog. Focusing down individual Drakidins, but one of them is in the back and was still left good. Left to the better. He's got more vultures coming out of his rallies. There's not as strong of a rally from Kasuga's next force, though. So, where are those mines? Definitely need to see those mines laid. He's mining from his extra base as well, but he hasn't been able to upgrade his production at all. Catching some of them on the approach. I really think he needs to lay more mines on the natural. This is so tight still. And Kasuga might just have enough to overwhelm. These Fulcrum production cycles were out of sync a little bit. A lot of these vultures going down with full mines makes it very challenging to hold the rallies. Trying to get it back up to a good mass of the vultures. Maybe lay some offensive mines. That didn't work out for him, though. Zealot will go down here in a moment. One of them died in the main base, but I don't know, man. Kasuga looks like he's about to do it back-to-back times. All these Striders very healthy. The Mason's getting actuated a little bit too late, I think, to help. And GG is called. The one base all in. Both games, Kasuga absolutely melting face. Unbelievable. 2-1 Crank, 2-0 Shopkeeper, and it's Hit 'em Up versus Kasuga in the grand finals. How to counter that? The one Falk expand is a little bit of a, like, you're forcing yourself to have a bit less on the resource field and like the resources to counter it. I would say it's pretty. It's down to your, like, preference, because it's not impossible to hold it with that build. It was actually a build designed to try to hold that sort of thing. Option 1 is have the vultures kill the Herald when it was down to 16 HP. He sniped the Cantavis. That was good. When he kills the Cantavis, that's good. But when the re-attack comes out, you need to snipe that Herald. It's giving you so much momentum for the Protoss army, because every time a ground unit, or any unit for the Protoss army, dies, they get treated as if they were like an Ecclesiast or a Vassal or a Servitor, where they speed the rest of the army up. So the Herald is what allows that to happen. You snipe the Herald, the Vengeance goes away, the Shield Steal is not nearly as powerful. The Shield Bleeding, I should say, is not nearly as powerful. So that is an interesting choice, because we are in a situation then where Kasuga has this technical army, and it's not requiring too much micro on his part, but if you take out the target selection, then suddenly he doesn't have anything, right? So the ability with him to just continue pushing past and denying you the ability to kite because his units are so fast is a big deal. After that, when the initial hold started to happen, more vultures kept coming out, but no mines were laid at the ramp. No mines were laid down in the natural. And I understand the natural point, because there's not that much time. You have to keep clearing these units inside your main base. The Fourfold Vault could have held... Obviously, it would have been easier without the Herald alive for so long. But then when the... you can't disengage with the Herald still alive. You have to disengage after you snipe the Herald, because the attack speed increase starts to happen. So there's a lot of decisions to make there. But step 1 is kill the Herald. The Cantavis was important to snipe as well. I actually would have preferred sniping the Herald over the Cantavis, the more I think about it. But it's a really hard decision to make. All these shit tier Protoss and Zergs are intentionally throwing. What's up? Yeah, Bio would be pretty good. The ridiculous, the 4-gate on one base, and then the 3-gate Grand Library on one base, that was wild. All right, lads, we're going to get into our next match. As usual, it will take me a moment to update the overlay with the fact that... we have a hit 'em up random. But it will be hit 'em up taking on Kasuga. I did not expect that one whatsoever. Our first match of this grand final best of 3 is live. Hit him up in the top right is our Emerald Zerg, and in the bottom left we have Kasuga, our Black Protoss. We are on Atacama, a 4-spawn map, and it will be cross-spawn. I am sort of I'm agreeing with Ayud in the chat right now about the fact that those like one base all-ins will blindside people. And I mean, this is a tournament, but it's not like Acropolis. It's weekend wage. It's a little bit for fun, but also for some moolah, some money man. So yeah, it's interesting to see how that one works out. It'll be interesting to see where they end up going. Double Larvosk here for hit him up before any tech node. He's cross spawn, so he actually has some good value here. I have to favor hit him up. If it was Shopdog, I'd say there's definitely a chance Shopdog wins. If it was Krankendow, I'd say there's a chance Krankendow wins. I know Kasuga's been just melting face with his all-ins, but surely he can't be hit him up. Hit him up is like the anti-all-in king. He does the most greedy shit, and he still gets away with it. That's hit him up. And look, he doesn't even need to worry about... There's no ramp here for cliff advantage, but he doesn't even need to worry about, like, no Kagra spread. He can creep all the way to his natural and put a circuit there. I bet hit him up gonna whine, says Arbuz. You think he'll whine even if he wins, Arbuz? There's a possibility. He's actually making a circuit over here. He wants to hold this as his bastion. It's a choke point. It still works. All right. That's a triple Larvosk before pool. He's got a circuit. He's got Rilla Rokors. The correct choice here for Kasuga is either to just disengage when you see this, or go all the way in and ignore the rills. We'll see which one he decides. You can navigate either way. You know, you might want to scout, might be tempted to scout what he's doing. When you see all these rills and you see the circuit, you kind of know that he's doing something really greedy with fast Larvosks, and that's all you really need to navigate from there. Who are we hating on, says Newt. Kasuga, I guess? I don't know. He's doing the one base all in again, at least to start. There's the embassy. So this is the same build he did against Krankendow. See if Hit 'em Up has an answer to the positrons. One Droleth going down. The drills come out. Oh yeah, I don't think they're going to get another Droleth kill. No, okay, only losing one worker. I mean, he's economically speaking, this is no contest. Hit 'em Up is going to be very far ahead from this position. It's down to Kasuga's drop and one base timing to basically just crush what Hit 'em Up actually has. So we're going to see the Zets be dispatched to scout the bases, see where he's at, since Hit 'em Up still doesn't know at this point. Ayud Simulacrum Rush auto wins here. I haven't seen the Ayud Simulacrum Rush. But it's good to mix that in, I guess, every now and then, especially if it's playable afterwards. All right, Zella Positron scouted out by Hit 'em Up. He knows what's going on, so he's going to start spreading more Kagra. It looks like he wants to create a defensive line of circuits to prevent any run-bys from his natural choke into his main base. I think he's expecting a very sharp timing from Kasuga, but that's not really what we have, right? It is going to be a Cantavis drop. The Zethagors are actually going to scout it over. Does he see it? He didn't pan over. He didn't see what it was. So I don't know if he's going to intuit it's a drop or what. The Rills are going to be over here, though. It certainly could be a drop. And the Zets come in to see that the army is still at home, so what else would it be, right? Makes sense. I like that he's shuffling the Quas and the Rills specifically over there, and he can just kind of respond based on that. I'm sure at some point soon he's going to be going for a round of Drolls to saturate the natural. All right, let's see what the reaction is. Drop comes out. Circuit being made. And he's just going to evacuate. I'd love to see him just move to the natural from this position. A lot of dead workers, though. That's 5 dead droll. Hit him up still. That does not fix the problem for Kasuga, make no mistake. He's still very much behind, but he might be able to get back into the game from here. That certainly makes it a little bit easier for him to do so. I just don't rate his macro as highly as hit-em-ups, so for him to already be behind in the early game with unpunished greed or insufficiently punished greed makes it very difficult. Immediately has to load up the Envoy as the Cantavis is quite low. So that's not going to work out too well for him. Oh, Biddy B! Biddy B, you didn't mine! You didn't put a mine there. You've just triggered hit him up to go ape mode. He will make 1,000 Likizilisks. Oh, he's out of energy. Oh, never mind. I thought he deliberately canceled that, but dude, I don't know what's happening in this game. We've got the Herald Positron coming online slowly. Extra base for Kasuga. Hit him up is so far ahead in terms of macro for sure. And one band of Zethar Cores is going to be leaving the base. We don't have much for them to do right now on the map, but... He's trying to kill Quaz with a can. This feels like a waste of his APM, honestly, but we'll see if it works out for him. More Positrons coming. Ridge cap in the natural. All right. Hydras are coming. Already thinking about double expanding from here, perhaps? Oh, is he going to go take mains? It looks like he's taking other mains. That's a pretty good strategy, though. The Witness has met its maker. Goodbye. Avaleths. Mass drop spotted, though. That's 5 Avaleths. You got to be aware of that. The drop is going to be coming at a similar time to when it looks like Forced Break is going to be on the way. Kasuga going to try to break in. He's floating a lot of money right now. He's going to end up restacking his stuff. He'll try to range down the circuit. Yeah, he needs to be very watchful for that. Now, the Positrons will wreck face if they're allowed to attack in the choke. So that's sort of what you see Kasuga trying to set up for. He knows his strength right now. There's so many circuits, though. All right. In it's going to go. I don't think this is going to work out for him. The Cantavis will be bullied. The push in the front, though, it's coming. Looks like it's scooted back into the Envoy. Meanwhile, the Lakers are trying their best. Remember, there was no Witness, so one of the Lakers gets stepped right on top of, but Zoryus come out to try to shove that away, and it looks like the Envoy did end up falling without getting any damage done. So no mental damage inflicted to hit him up, it seems. He has lost one of his gas miners on the Eskagant. He'll seem to ignore that for now, but there it is. The mains are being taken. Unbeknownst to Kasuga. Third base on the way for our Protoss. A Crucible to try to speed up most of his production, but crucially it does not speed up the Ardent. So that is a bit of a missed opportunity, I feel like. Yeah, I mean, all of his pressure, all of his tempo seems to have gone out the window. It's up to hit him up to navigate to victory from this position, certainly in the lead. The extra bases in the mains make it a little bit harder to reinforce and actually resaturate, but he'll take 11 o'clock, or 1 o'clock rather, as well. And top left is done. He's going to start drolling over there. Yeah, Kasuga definitely faltering here, I feel like, but his APM falling. He's going to add an Argosy. He's adding a Grand Library, another Gateway. He's going to try to spend down the money now that he has secured a third base on the way, but no third base income just yet, right? So, less than saturation. All of these drops were, all these Avaleths were discovered, so Hit 'em Up decides not to use them at all. He's just going to saunter in, path into the 7 o'clock, Is he going to force a cancel on the Nexus? It's tempting to do that, but it's so close to completion. Yeah, it looks like that's all he wants. He just wants to provoke the army. And then I suppose he will fall away from the ramp. More embassies. Okay. It's going to be a Crucible Artisan. He's going to try to come back into the game with that, I guess. What is the Argosy going to make? Empyreans, probably? You get some Zarkavicors out for hit him up, he'll be fine, but does he know that? Witness is sort of trailing this one Lake is. We don't have an Avaleth here on the front line to detect that, so it's just kind of down to hit him up to deal with the fact that he knows his units are going to be visible. And he's just going to barrel in to try to shut down that base, provoking the army outside, and it's a wonderful concave here. The Positrons are not going to get very much done here at all. All the Hydras are stacked up now. Maybe I'll eat my words. Zeracors and Hydras getting shellacked, but the backfill count is so good. I think that army's just melted. Reinforcements coming in from the northern flank, and that's it for Kasuga before his Empyrean finishes. It'll come into being just in time to see that most of the ground army has been relegated to disaster. The Zethicors and Hydras finish off the Nexus in the meantime, and we still have these mains operational. The Witness sees Kagra in the bottom right, top left also, ready to be saturated, and of course the third base done. If Hit 'em Up is routed here and held. It's a possibility, but I don't think it's one that has a lot of distinction in reality. The backfill count alone is so good. The Hydras can help deal with the Empyrean, even without any armor in from the Zorius, which they will be getting. And that is a wrap on the air unit. One more is ready to go, but nothing else is here, and Kasuga has paused the game. Absolute VM, although I don't think it was intentional. He just didn't feel like typing GG before leaving. And Hit 'em Up has defeated Kasuga. The expected result. But we need Kasuga's pick. Its macro is beyond Kasuga's comprehension. that's certainly one way to put it. I think the greed really gave him a lot, but there's more to it than just that. I just want someone to beat Hit 'em Up. Hit 'em Up hasn't even been playing, and he's already getting shade for winning too much. Yeah, Kasuga had a huge float, for sure. Oya would beat Hit 'em Up. I think Oya would beat Hit 'em Up, but Oya is not playing in this weekend with him. Oya is kind of the final boss. It is true. He wanted to play him on a StarCraft 2 map that we haven't vetted yet, Oneros. Would have been great to have that map in. Crisis Vector it is. We almost had a Jujic StarCraft 2 port. I still feel strongly about Gilded Wall being a possibility. The only question in my mind is whether or not the pathing can be smoothed out, but I don't know. It seems like a fun one. Gather $20,000 together. If I had a prize pool of that for Acropolis, dude, I think you'd see some Koreans sign up. And we have Hit 'em Up rolling Protoss. It'll be PvP. Hell yeah, brothers. Let's get that overlay up to date. Hit 'em Up in the bottom right here is going to be our Palatnit Blue Protoss. And Kasuga in the top left is our Black Protoss. Excuse me, I had a hiccup. Let's first get Tasteless. He is open to ideas. I feel like if Tasteless saw that foreign StarCraft 1 pros were playing, he might be interested. I don't know. Artosis is definitely not as open to ideas, but that's fine. You like your stuff, man. I feel nothing but gratitude for the people who have participated in Cosmonarchy, who have checked it out, regardless of the size of their platform, if it even exists at all. So I feel zero entitlement. It's not like I'm like, hey man, why won't you pay attention to my game? My mod. I don't feel that. That is not what I feel. So I just want to throw that out there, man. I really appreciate pros like Zeke, Oya, DeWalt, Bonneth, Ultra, Mixu, these guys who Hanbano who have played in these tournaments, and you know, showed up for more games afterwards. That's really cool to me. I really quite like that. So, and we got some really good testimonials, like Zeke saying he likes playing Cosmonarchy more than he likes playing StarCraft 1. Bonneth saying, wow, he said to me, and I beamed with pride, I couldn't believe it, before his show match against, it was Ultra, oh, Wolfix is also a shout out, Wolfix, but he was up against Ultra and Zeke in a match, because Hawk didn't show up, and before his show match, he was playing single player, and he was like, damn, I didn't realize what I had been missing in my life, and so that's a pretty fucking warm compliment to be paid by a pro player, so I'm happy about that, man. I have grateful. There's some pride in there, you know. I feel like it's affirming. Even if none of the pros checked that out, I'd still be doing my thing. But it is nice to see that. So anyway, just a few words of celebration. If Tasteless checks it out, wonderful. You know, Saiyan checked it out for a while. Also was great to have him and his thoughts in there. Ayud did bully him out of the... just beat him too many times in a row, and he rage quit the stream, and then later on left the server. So I'll always remember the way that stream ended. It was so beautiful in a sort of, you know, like haha way. But I still appreciate him playing. I still appreciate him very much. So that's all I'll say there. Kasuga's not going to get anything done with these Legionnaires. That is the fate of all frauds. Goodbye. Oh, actually, he is on hold position. That guy leaves. The hit 'em up scribe dodges the initial Legionnaires. It will be pathing around. We have a 2-gate Rogue Gallery and then a 3rd gate, whereas it's 2-gate Lattice for a 1 vassal scout here. You'll get in to scout for basically free. When you see Rogue Gallery, you have to avail yourselves of some way to detect. And I honestly, like, a Bulwark in the main sucks. But an Embassy at this time also kind of sucks. So it'll be interesting to see what hit 'em up decides to do here. Because he's not going to put down a 1-base Ardent, most likely, so. Scribe just going to be moving over to this position here at 12 o'clock. Let's see what it can do there. All right, the Embassy is coming. Hit 'em up is going to go Witness. Does kind of frustrate his position a little bit, but... I mean, he scouted all of the production, right? So this is a 1-base all-in called out PvP. So he's going to add another gateway, another lattice, cap his gas, bunker down. Expect that he will be spending quite a bit of time on 1 base. And let's see, the vassal's out here, the scribe's out here. He's just going to be checking again to see, make sure there's no natural follow-up. He has a, I don't think you can, okay. The Kabbalist can jump to the manifold here and get in that way. But that's it. That's all they can do. The Vassal Scouts the move out. If they jump in, the Hierophants tag them and they're slowed for a good while. I think at least one of them dies. So Kasuga's doing a very smart move here of waiting behind the sort of push. We don't have a Witness yet for hit 'em up, but his Embassy is ready to make one. There it is. Gets queued up now. He's just making more and more units, right? Oh, I see. He's adding some Wardens here to make sure that Kasuga cannot expand behind this. And while the DPS of the Herald is a bit lackluster on its own, right? So eventually this Warden will have to be canceled. But, you know, it's done the job. It's already canceled the attack, right? And this will give time for the Witness to pop out. He can clear the Kabbalists and maybe take an expand. Honestly, not really that bad. He even gets in here for a rescout to see that it's still the same thing. So, yeah. If I'm in Kasuga's shoes, I'm feeling like, damn, I'm done for. He's found my Kabbalists and everything. And there's the expansion. Right on schedule. Dude, everything hit him up touches turns to dead. And he's touching Kasuga. Overall, though, I would say Kasuga is going to be in a strugglesome position. His expansion is very late. His worker count is a little bit below his opponent's. And Hit 'em Up is also making artisans. So his worker count's really going to be below his opponent's. And the army count is a bit higher for Hit 'em Up. Remember, that's because he has lattices, so he's making manifolds. He's got a couple of cheaper units in there as well, like legionnaires. Army quality-wise, I think Kasuga's in a fine position. He even has a charlatan out. Let's see. No further invisible units have been made. Kasuga, he's going to fancy a fight here. And I do think that he has a superior position, but the manifolds will give a lot of armor penetration, allowing the legionnaires and the hierophants, even the ecclesiasts, to deal way better damage than I think Kasuga was ready for. Oh, Hit 'em Up has found it. Turns out manifolds are pretty good PvP. The vagrants are trying to snipe individual units down, but the hierophants will start to falter, but I just don't think it's going to matter much. Kasuga still making things happen with his pitiful army, but the ecclesiasts are in melee range now, getting so many shields back, and that is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. The Herald was doing its best to also shield sustain through that. That's why Kasuga's army ended up surviving quite a bit longer. I hate you. Never can course over you. It's true. Kasuga was 3-0'd by Hit 'em Up in the throne room stage of Acropolis 3, and now he is... Well, he's 3-0'd again. He lost in the upper bracket, and he lost twice in the grand final. Well, Kasuga is on full typing. He's on full typing mode. Nah. Hey, I can say I beat Hit 'em Up once, but it was Mavericks. It was Mavericks. I'm gonna have Bin Bin Bon Bon with my GF. See ya. What a way to go. All right. What is Bin Bin Bon Bon? A Swedish candy company. Okay. All right. It destroyed me, is what he did. GG's, lads. Weekend wage is claimed by Hit 'em Up. He wins the $20 first place prize. Kasuga gets 15. That's pretty good for second place. We got third place, $10 for Shopkeeper Dog. Fourth place, $5 for Crankendow. All of that money is available to be claimed. If sometimes people will give it back. If that happens, it'll just go towards the prize pool of weekend wage number 10 because it was donated in the first place. It wasn't my money. So effectively, that's what I was doing when people gave it back anyway. Is just continuing to take it out there. So let's see. He's got a 2-0 his girlfriend. I don't know what that looks like, but I don't want to know. Apparently, it involves Swedish candy. That was pretty good. That was a fun weekend wage. That was a very fun weekend. I liked it. Big stuff. Well, Kasuga's giving his $15 back, so we already know that we are at $45 for yonder weekend wage funding. It's not 30, it's 45. And yeah, so we only need $5 to fully satisfy the next one. Pretty good stuff, if you ask me. Oh, you give back also? Well, there it is. Between Crankendow and Kasuga, we have funded weekend wage number 10. Beautiful. All right, so I'll PayPal hit him up in a moment here, and then also Shopdog if I ever get Shopdog's info. Oh, Hit him up is also donating his money. He says, keep it. Shawarma inflation has ruined me. Okay, fair. Understandable. Have a nice day. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe it, but the tournament is complete, and it didn't take long at all. Yeah, GG's to everybody who participated. This one was like 3.5 hours long or something. It was not that long. Keep the change, you filthy animal. Yep. I can lose the game, but I can't lose life, though. You're right, Kasuga. You're right. GG's. Well played. You defeated Newt and Krankendow and Shopkeeper Dog. Very, very impressive result. I will see you later on. Oh, I can also confirm Shopdog has also let me keep the money. Guys, what do I do with the $50? I guess I put it there, and then I got 20 on extra? I'll just buy a Christmas present or something. Bringing up IRL stuff has got to count as profane. Yeah, something like that. All right. Yeah, we're done here. We're going away. We're saying goodbye. Weekend Wage will return on the 3rd of January, so you don't have to wait long into the new year in order to experience it. If you only watch Weekend Wages for whatever reason, or I don't see you before Christmas, then have a Merry Christmas, assuming you celebrate it. And I will definitely be seeing you guys for more streams in general, but if all you do is tune into Weekend Wages, then I will see you guys in the next year. Happy New Year as well. GG's. And yeah, Hit 'em up is just too good. Peace.